to do it. We'll cover a little bit of ground that we covered last night, just for folks that maybe didn't hear the broadcast. Our thanks to Mark Borichter, our partner in crime on the Central Bank pregame show that you hear every week during the football season. Mark was with us, and we broke down the draft with him. Listen, I am interested. You got a grade? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Did they do it right? Did they do it wrong? What are your thoughts about how this came together for the Kansas City Chiefs? We'd love to hear from you. 913-3-810-810, the phone number, 913-3-810-810. I'll say this, like, they got the best corner, right? They were picking in the top 10, and they got the best out of position. It's also a position of need, although I don't think you should be drafting on need. I think you should fill all your needs in free agency, in previous drafts, and then literally draft the best player available in each round. But it's a lot. It's a fair trade. It's what the trade chart says it should be.
Yeah.
Many people say the Chiefs could have gotten him at 9. Maybe.
There is no reliable evidence of that.
There's no reliable evidence that they couldn't.
Yeah.
Other than Brett Veach's comments that he didn't think they could.
Yeah, it would be impossible to prove that they couldn't. But I've yet to see any credible evidence that anyone said that they absolutely could have. We don't know.
And we don't bring this up because we're cheerleading the pick. I mean, I think it's a very bold move, and I think it will be questioned heavily if it doesn't work out. And everybody who's listened to this show knows I'm a trade down. At 9, if you didn't like what you're going to get at 9, I'd rather be peeling back. I'd rather convince the Cowboys that I was going to take Caleb Downs instead of having them come up to 11. Have them come up, tell them they need to come up to 9. You know, get the intel on what they're doing. Let's try to peel back to 12, and then let's try to peel back again, and let's try to peel back again. I'm about throwing numbers at the situation, and so if you need a corner, let's get 16 picks and draft 4 of them.
Yeah, that's what the Bills did. Bills damn near got an 8th round pick.
The Bills, I think, when it was all said and done, added only 1 pick though in all their trades, didn't they? Because most of them came. They moved up in 3 or.
That's true.
3 other spots.
There were some exchanges,
which I'm good with too. I'm fine with that. If you didn't get any more picks, but you moved up on 6 of them, and you moved down, great. I mean, that gives you a chance to get better players. But it's a bold move. And listen, I will say this: they went up and they got the best corner in this draft by their assessment, and frankly by many other people's assessment as well. So I think from that standpoint, I do respect that. While I thought they needed quantity in addition to quality in this draft, and they are not going to get quantity. They're down to 7 picks. All the quantity just went on one guy.
Yep.
And they came away with 5 starters in 2022's draft. They went into it with 12 picks and they made 10 selections. They now have 7. I mean, I think they need to get 4 starters out of this draft. I think it's going to take an incredible run now, because giving up 74, that was probably the last spot that you would say you could do it. I've said this a number of times, and, I know some people will bristle at it, but I'm a big believer the first round needs to start year 1, unless it's a quarterback. Then I'll let you be a little patient on that. But needs to start and start in year 1. Year 2 needs to be a start. And you really, frankly, pick 1 should probably, certainly up high, this is true, start game 1.
Yeah.
Right? Second round picks should probably start sometime during the year. Now, I would listen to, if you wanted to say, well, are you talking about the true first rounders or just anybody picked in the first round? Good point.
A guy picked at 30 is playing probably on a team that's got a pretty strong roster.
A good team. I mean, and this year I had 22, I think, real first round draft picks. A lot of people had 11 or 12. I think Sam McDowell, when we did our Red, Gold, and Bold, Sam had 10 or 11, and Jeff had 1 more.
Yeah.
Kenyon Sadiq was where we differed. And Sam had good reasons for not putting him at number 1. I had more because I think your job as a general manager. I mean, I've said this. I think when that was first hatched, it would be 2024 that were really first rounders, and over time that keeps getting to be less and less and less. Every year it's less, and it's because I think general managers want a built-in excuse for their owners, and I think it's because people who cover the draft want a built-in excuse for why they didn't get somebody right You know, I think there are more. I think I only had 5 offensive tackles, and I think the 6th one from Arizona State probably belongs in that category as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a 6'7" kid who's only been playing football for about 4 years and can play at an all Big 12 level, and he's 6'7", 300+ pounds. And
the guy that went to Pittsburgh, Ianich, or
I probably would look back at him and be like, yeah, that guy should truly be a first-round pick. I had Caleb Banks in my first round. If he were healthy, the Vikings clearly think he's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
They
18.
buy into and he went 18. You know, so I think there are more first-rounders than people let on. But, you know, that's great. You're in the get-it-right business. And you're really in the get-it-right business when you're picking the top 10. And you have no excuse to fail when you move up 3 spots from 9 to 6.
Yeah. Just an example, this team didn't move up this, but David Bailey at 2. If he's not in the Jets starting lineup on opening night, that's a problem.
Yes.
You know, he needs to be there.
Yes, I would concur. So, look, they got Peter Woods was a guy that if this draft were held last year would have been a top 10 pick. That tells you he didn't play as great his junior year. It's 3 years in. He's not even 22 years old yet. Just turned 21, as a matter of fact, in March. Mm-hmm. So he's a young player, so that gives you more reason to believe that there's more ceiling there with him. The Chiefs love the young guys, although Delane is 22 plus. I think he's about 22 and a half. So he's not ultra young. He's kind of age appropriate for coming out. But I like the players. I mean, I think getting down towards bottom one, I think they're both need positions. I just hope they didn't force something because of the need. They didn't force the trade because of the need. They didn't force the pick of Woods because they have a need at D tackle. And, you know, that we'll see what they put with it. Do they peel back from 40 to 55 and get, you know, 71 with it? I'll like that better. This draft will look better to me.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah.
We've talked about the idea of player versus process, but you know, I saw a lot of people that had mocked a corner to the Chiefs at 9, but the most common positions I remember were edge and wide receiver. They didn't address either one of those spots, and they only have now 1 pick tonight, which means one of the 2 most commonly pointed out areas or positions of need won't be addressed in the draft until at earliest the 4th round, barring a change. That's the process part that makes it a problem. Now we kind of said this last night. They would have had after this, he would have had 7 picks to get things taken care of. Now they only have 5, which means those they can't miss. They can't miss at 40. They can't miss. They really can't miss at 40. They can't really miss at 109. They don't have any wiggle room.
When you get out of the top 100 at that point, I'm like, you know, so if you get a special teamer out of it, success. Yeah. You should. What's probably what you know. My theory is I've got all these things that you know. 3rd rounder should start for you at some point. 4th rounder on down. Special teams.
Yeah.
The reality is you're going to miss on one of those 1, 2, 3s, and then you better hit a diamond in the rough in 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. But 40 now has to hit.
I mean, I just feel like you need to consistently have 3 starters.
Yeah.
Coming out of the draft. I mean, that's just 12 starters every 4 years, which is really about how often your team turns over. 12 plus you have most years we look at it and you go back 4 years, there's 7 guys that go back 4 years. So that's only 19 of your players. Mm-hmm. Where do all the others come from, right? Then some of them are special teams or whatever. But that's 19 of 22 starters. Okay, so that'll get you there. Sign some free agents. But it gets harder when you don't have as many picks. And listen, let's talk about Delane. What makes that a success? What will deem that a success?
I think he has to be a multiple-time Pro Bowler.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to give up 2 more bites at the apple to try to hit, to give up a shot at Noel Williams. I mean, 74 is higher than Noel Williams went. Noel Williams went 85. Okay? This guy needs to blow Noel Williams' doors off. He needs to be definitively the number 1 corner. He needs to start day 1. He needs to be a multiple-time Pro Bowler.
Yes.
And he needs to be a guy that you're strongly considering giving a second contract to. And I mentioned the 22 and a half because basically you're going to get him, see what his birthday is, make sure I'm right on that. I know he's 22, but I want to see how close he is to being 23. But if we call this year 22, 23, 24, After his 24-year-old season is when the Jets gave the extension to Sauce Gardner. Then after the 25-year-old season would put him where, okay, are we going to franchise tag him or are we going to give him the extension?
Turned 22 last December.
So, yeah, so he'll turn 23 in season.
Yeah, around week 16.
Right? So,
15.
To me, for me personally, I don't ever want to be given a corner a second contract. Like, I want to flip this guy after 4 years is what I want to do. I want him to be a stud, and I want to flip him again because I think corners fall off. I think, your physical, your athletic prime is like 26, 27 years old. You're on the downslope after that. And I think especially the physical attributes it takes to play corner, which is to read and to react quickly, efficiently, to a degree violently, not as far as delivering a blow, but to flip your hips to go with a guy who's taking off on a dead sprint after you're facing the other way. That's a jerk your body around and go. And when you start tightening up when you get old and you don't have that quick twitch, like they start going right by you. Yeah. And so, this still, and this is the thing I worry about, is that I think Patrick Mahomes has, hopefully 8 more good years. And so the plan should be to have the 8 best years you can have, not to have the best year this year. And this feels this yearish.
Yeah.
And, I'm okay with the corner. He's just got to be good. You have to get it right.
Because and by the draft position, which to me is who was taken is easily the best measure of what the league thought of him. He was the best one because I have a hard time believing nobody else needed a corner, and the next one didn't go until 27 with the Dolphins taking Chris Johnson. So he clearly is the guy, but he has to be the guy.
Yes.
I mean, we have to look back in 5 years and say that was where they landed. This guy who's going to be, maybe not Ring of Honor guy, but he has to be spectacular.
What does Peter Woods have to be for that pick to be a success?
Less because they didn't have to give up as much, but maybe you add a little bit less than Delane, obviously. But the fact that they didn't go edge there, you kind of, it's not on him. He can only be as good as he can be. But I think he has to be more than just a guy who runs around in the rotation. I mean, he has to be an impactful player, and he has to be able to make Chris Jones maybe a better player. But he has to be the starter fairly quickly, and I think that would be easier to do. We talk a lot about how the Spags defensive scheme is sometimes tough to learn, and guys don't quite get there in the second year. I was finally getting it second year. I don't know how much that applies to defensive tackle. There's a lot less things you have to deal with. There's a lot of less space. I mean, you basically have 3 feet to either side. So I think he'd be able to pick things up pretty quickly for what he's able to do. But he has to be an impactful player in year one. And, I mean, some of the video you see, that some of the reps look great, but he's got to be that guy. He's got to be a significant asset.
Yeah.
He can't just be a guy who goes in and out of the lineup. He's got a star.
I'm pretty optimistic that I feel I'm not optimistic. I'm confident that there's a lot of ceiling there. I mean, you can watch in just the highlight videos of the quickness that he brings to the table, and he brings 300 pounds to the equation. And
there's one rep that's been shown that I've seen the most is they're playing LSU, and they're running toward the middle, and he gets engaged by the right guard. And as soon as he sees the guy is going up the middle, he just takes the right guard and goes, you go lay over there, and immediately shoots out toward the middle and helps make the tackle. And you're like, that's nice.
Yeah.
When Andy Reid said Aaron Donaldy, you go, okay, that's silly, but that looked a little Aaron Donaldy.
Yeah.
Now that's in college, but it is against LSU. It's not against Weber State. So that kind of jumps out. But if he has the skill set and the physical tools to make that move, he's probably got the skill set to do it again.
Yeah.
That wasn't just him bull rushing a guy who got off on his feet. You can see all the tools they talk about are all in that one play.
I've heard some people say, does this mean they don't like Omar Norman Lott anymore? No, you need multiple people. and let me tell you something. Come 27, I think you need someone to replace Chris Jones.
Yeah, you got to have 4.
I mean, Chris Jones' contract's either going to have to get reworked and extended, which I'm not in favor of, or you're going to have to cut him. And so D-tackle is a definitive need, and really most teams like to rotate 4 guys through those 2 spots. So, No, it doesn't mean that.
If,
Now,
if you don't have 4 guys who can play, at some point you find out, because at some point there's going to be a guy in there who's overwhelmed, and teams find that offenses find that out rather quickly.
913-810-810. We're going to give people a chance to weigh in here. We got a lot coming your way today. Danny Unleashed coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. Got the 2-minute drill coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Todd Lebo joins us in the 5. We'll break down the draft for the man who covered it in the 5 o'clock hour, as Kevin Harlan is traveling game to game. So Todd Lebo will do his best to fill in for the great Kevin Harlan. We'll take a break. Take your phone calls next. 913-3-810-810. You're in the program. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Petro, Seaboldt, Collier with you. Coming up a little bit later on, Danny Unleashed. Brought to you by our good friends at Easton Roofing, also one of our great sponsors. When it comes to our draft coverage is Easton Roofing. Don't forget, they do siding, repair, and replacement, gutters, all different kinds of gutters. They got you covered there, residential, commercial. Happy to do repairs as well. See if you can find that out of any other roofing company. A lot of them just, got to replace the whole thing.
Yep.
Founded on integrity, Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. 913-810-810. Let's talk some draft with the esteemed Sean in Jersey. Sean, lead us off today, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, Soren and company. How you guys doing?
Good, brother. What's on your mind?
Yeah, first and foremost, Soren, I just want to say thanks for your 810 app radio station and the Red Golden Bold. I listen to that every week all the way here from Jersey. But so to the draft. So what I want to say is I'm not too mad about the pick that the Chiefs made. I just was hoping that when they did make that trade with the Browns, I was thinking that they were going to try to move up for the that offensive tackle from Miami. So why I say this is because Mahomes is coming off an injury. Kansas City with the secondary has always did good in the later rounds. I mean, you look at Snead, you look at Ward that we got from didn't we get him off of Dallas practice squad?
Yeah, Charvarius Ward, Letarius Snead, they got in the fourth round, Jalen Watson in the seventh round.
Yep, and they all went on to get big paydays. So I think that cornerback, I mean, I understand we lost the one guy. Who did we just lose?
Trent McDuffie, they traded away, and Jalen Watson left in free agency.
Yeah. But I think they could have held off on that because there's plenty of cornerbacks. Then another person that I thought that they would have tried to pick up was the guy from I think I had talked to you about this before, that tight end from Oregon. Only why I say that is because after this year, I think Travis Kelce is gone. So what are we going to do at that spot? And we don't know about the outcome of Josh Simmons. We don't know how this season is going to play out with him. So that's my concern with Mahomes coming off the injury. We don't know when he's coming back, but
so it sounds like if I'm summing this up right, like that you acknowledge that there's a need at corner, but you would also like them to have taken a tight end and an offensive tackle.
Yeah, because I know we do good.
How about an edge too? How about let's just get 4 in that first round? I mean, I think
I said I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be flippant, Sean, but I, as we talk it through, the point here is they have many needs, and that's what makes the trade up scare you because we know there's a lot of spots where they could use a good football player.
Right, and like I said, I'm not mad with that 29th pick. I mean, we'll see how he turns out. I mean, we got Kalafakis on the line, we have Chris Jones on the line, but as far as the secondary, I wasn't too concerned about that, and I was just surprised that they moved up that early to get that cornerback when, they got Trent McDuffie. What was that, in the second round, I think they got him? Trent
McDuffie they moved up for as well. In fact, they gave a third and a fourth to go from 29 to 20 to get him.
All right.
But to your point, Sean, it's a good one. I appreciate the call, buddy, and thank you for the kind words. I think you are right. They've had success in later rounds. To your point about, like, you were surprised, right? I think that's the thing that I always caution everybody, and I always say, look, especially when the Chiefs are picking late, don't fall in love with one guy. Because the likelihood
or even one position.
Oh, yeah, because the likelihood that they're going to take that guy or even a couple of guys is not good, and you've built it up in your head that this is the guy, and if we get this guy, we're perfect. And then when it doesn't happen, you're disappointed. Right? Like, don't have those expectations because you're going to fail miserably all the time. Now, to the fact that we're all surprised speaks to the fact that at least one part of the draft game Brett Veach can do, not show his cards. Yeah. I mean, maybe he needed to go up to get him, so you can make a case, well, maybe somebody else was trying to get up. His explanation in the post draft press conference was that they really thought New Orleans was the threat. I mean, what I took away from him was, he said they've lost a corner in each of the last 2 years. We really thought that's where we had to get in front of. And then he mentioned Washington several times and said they weren't going to do anything. Kind of dismissively, almost like he was irritated.
Yeah.
That he couldn't get to 7 Like, hey, I offered you something good, and you could have got the guy you got in my spot, and I could have paid a little less, and you'd be better off, you dummy. Is how I kind of felt like it. Well, Washington wasn't going to do anything. It was like the way he said it, I kind of took away. So that is part of the process, too, is playing the draft board as effectively as you can.
He did everything but go, psh.
Yeah. So, look, they put a lot into him. That's why I talk about what's it going to take for this pick to be a success. It's going to take a guy. I don't want to say he has to be better than Trent McDuffie because Trent McDuffie was great, but he's got to be a multiple Pro Bowler. I mean, he absolutely has to be the best corner in this class.
I think he has to be as good as Trent McDuffie.
There cannot be some corner that goes in the second round that's better than Mansour Delane.
Nope.
He has to be Darrell Revis. He has to be. I'm trying to think of other guys because there's even the McDuffie class had
He's
three really good
Sauce
corners.
Gardner. He's got to be a Jalen Ramsey, a Pat Surtain.
I think he's got to be Sauce Gardner. This debate is he better than Trent McDuffie? Jeremy Fowler's executive thing didn't say he was. Like, I don't even think that's good enough. I mean, it's not about being the best corner in football. It's about being the best corner in this class. That may mean he's the 9th best corner, but he has to blow away everybody else that was available.
Yeah. I'd almost raise it even from that because if he's the best, but he's if the rest of the class isn't as great, and he's better than everyone, but he's what you'd expect out of the guy who's picked 23rd.
He needs to be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
I am setting a threshold that he can't just be like,
true.
Yeah, none of these. There's no other corner that's starting. At least this guy starts. I mean,
But I see your point of if even if he's really really good, if somebody else they could have gotten is better. That's a mistake.
Yeah, that's a mistake because you gave up three picks to go get him.
You can't miss.
Like if you took him at 9. And somebody was better, okay, you just missed. But when you put 2 more picks into it,
yes,
2 more picks. I mean, we can go through all the guys the Chiefs have taken after 74, which is the 3rd round pick that they gave up, that ended up being good players. I mean, after 148, Dave Zott, Trey Smith, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Watson. I mean, I can go through a multitude of players that were really good football players that went the 5th round pick, 148 or lower. Mm-hmm. And so when you give up those opportunities, I can give you a bunch that suck too. Right. I'm not saying they're all gold, but it's the opportunity. And if you're worth your weight as a GM, then you would have hit on at least one of those 2.
Yeah.
And so you're giving up a good player to move up. This guy's got to be great.
It's maybe not a perfect analogy, but like what was the old Roy Williams saying? Go ahead and dunk it, but you better make it.
I don't care what you do, but don't miss.
Yeah. That's what this. Last night was a dunk opportunity. You can't miss that one.
And we're going to see if they can't get to the quarterback again this year, and I think Peter Woods is going to help that. But if they don't get to an edge,
yeah,
and we watch Ashton Gelati battle some guy who's on the streets right now,
to a standstill.
Or Ashton Gelati, battle for the right to start.
Oh, I see.
Some guy who's on the street right now.
Oh, right, yeah.
Then that's going to be a problem. 913-810-810. Bo, you're on the program. What's going on, Bo?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Bud. What's on your mind?
Hey, I look at this draft all the way through. I think I don't mind the picks just because this draft is one unsure draft. There's a lot of good players, nothing great. And it kind of brings you back to the when they drafted the tackle, and we had the number 1 pick. And that draft, we took the best player. But I look at out of these 3 picks, out of number 40, they still got a chance to get their edge, either Carter or the kid from Missouri. So there's a chance that one of those will drop to them. But also you got to judge his draft also with Veach also likes to poach off of other teams and UFA people as well. So, I mean, they've hit some players in that aspect of starters.
Yeah, but that isn't something that they couldn't do if they had 2 more picks. That's irrelevant to what we're talking about. I understand what you're saying, Bo, and you are right. That is part of the talent acquisition process, but it is 100% entirely and unequivocally irrelevant to judging what he did in this draft, because he would be able to sign guys off the street even if he didn't make the trade. He could get undrafted free agents even if he didn't make this trade. That's all there as well.
The best that could do would be to mitigate this situation. Would be to mitigate a mistake in the draft. It's not helping it. It's not
but what I'm saying, if you could go away with this draft of hitting your DT to replace Jones, you got your lockdown corner, and then you hit on one of those at 40, either Carter or them, as a starter and possible Pro Bowler, I think this draft becomes a success.
How many ifs did you have there?
Yeah.
A lot of ifs. This whole draft,
I mean, listen, look, if he ends up, and Bo, thanks for the call, and you're not wrong, right? I just want to, everything you said there is accurate. I just want to be clear, though. None of it has anything to do with the trade. He still gave up 2 picks, 2 valuable picks. And listen, he didn't get fleeced. The trade charts say this was right where it should have been. This was the value to move up to 6. I will say this. I know all of us media humps and fans don't think this draft class is great. We'll find out. If 20 years from now we look and it says HOF by 9 guys in this class, then that was wrong. Right? There are some years are better than others, no doubt. But you're in the get it right business. That Eric Fisher year, 13 wasn't a great year. But I'm going to tell you right now, there was definitely there were definitely good football players in that year. And, the Chiefs did a pretty good job. I mean, the Eric Fisher pick was a good pick based upon what was out there. But you still have to find good players.
Yep.
And, you're giving yourself less chance when you give away 2 picks. So it's if the kid's a stud, I'll tell you what I was told by people in the Chiefs building when I asked about Patrick Mahomes. I said, hey, and everyone in this town knows that I was big on Patrick Mahomes when he's at Texas Tech, right? So I wasn't doubting them, but I said, look, there are a lot of people in this town that are saying, boy, you better be right to give up all that to go get him. And I was told, if we're right, no one will even remember what we traded.
Yeah.
And that was accurate.
And what's the only way it's remembered is like what a steal it was. That's the only way anybody even talks about it. They now have a little over 70% of the draft picks they would have had for the rest of the way. They've lost almost 30% of what they had left. That's 2 picks. 2 picks when you only had 7. That's a big drop off.
We got a couple of Johns coming up next. So John, and I mean that as far as their names. That is a term that could
I
be
labeled
taken
them as John 1 and John 2.
I know.
I didn't think about that.
So one John, when you hear me say, John, you're in the program, don't freak out. I didn't screw up the phone. That's just back-to-back Johns here in the program. First John, you're in the program. What's up, John?
Hello, guys. I appreciate the clarification on the John.
You bet.
So I will say, as an armchair GM, I cringed a little bit last night when I saw the trade, and I'm like, okay, what did we give? And I saw the picks, and I cringed. So I was not happy about that. But I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth when I say I'm glad we drafted the cornerback. I'm glad we picked that. I'm glad we picked the tackle later, because I think the defense needs to work. So only time will tell. I still think at 40 we've got a good chance of getting an edge, and I would still go defense. I mean, I would build that side of the ball, but
let me ask you a question on that front, just to put this into perspective. 4th and 1, you're at the opposing team's 49. You have 2 timeouts. There's 2:05 to go, and Josh Allen and the Bills are on the other side. Are you punting, or are you asking Patrick Mahomes to get it done?
I think in that scenario, I think you'd always lean on Mahomes to get it done.
Then why don't you get him some help?
I just think the offense doesn't need as much help.
They were 21 last year. The defense was 10. Granted, the defense lost key players. I mean, your point. There's some. I'm not saying you're wrong, John, but there is an element. The other thing I will point out that I've said a number of times is Tom Brady finally got tired of Tom doesn't need the help. We'll just keep doing it on defense. I mean, people use how good they were defensively his entire tenure in New England as against him, but also part of it was they kept the defense stocked, and they kept saying, Tom will just make it work. Tom will just make it work. Tom finally said, I don't want to make it work. I'm going down there to Tampa where they got weapons, and it's fun, and I can sling the ball around the yard, and I'm out. And so, yes, Patrick Mahomes has won 2 championships since Tyreek Hill left. He can do it. But at some point, I don't think he likes running for his life for half of his completions either before he throws it. I don't think he likes having to throw the ball 6 yards at a time, right? Like, and this draft is largely a statement that our offense is fine. We got Kenneth Walker, and now it's all fixed. That's a little bit of what this first round was. I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay, they got rid of Matt Nagy. Let's throw him under the bus. He's gone. All the problems were him. We got a better scheme now, and we got a running back that can really make it go. No problem. But Juwan Taylor started over Jalen Moore last year. That tells you what they think of Jalen Moore. Mm-hmm. Right? So now he's the guy at right tackle if they don't get somebody that's going to beat him out. And so you got better at running back, you got worse at right tackle. And you finished 21. When Patrick Mahomes went down, you'd have finished 41 if Patrick Mahomes didn't play 17 games. You finished 21 because you went from 10 to 21 in 3 games. That's how bad it was when that guy went down. That means what's around Patrick Mahomes ain't any good when you sum it all up.
No, and I got that. I do think we all lean on the fact that Mahomes makes everything better, right, and covers up
True.
A lot of flaws that we might have. I do think getting Walker as the best running back Mahomes has ever had, I think that is a nod to the offense. So I agree. The offense, I think we're still kind of crossing our fingers on that a bit. So I don't know. I still believe a strong defense, and then the offense with fingers crossed is kind of our best bet. So I'll leave it with this, though.
Okay.
You all know that this is the second Pete Woods the Chiefs have drafted, correct?
Someone told me that last night. I had forgotten that they'd had a
No, I did not know
back
that.
in the 70s.
1978, quarterback from Missouri,
okay.
Pete Woods.
Yeah. All right.
I hope this Pete Woods is better than that.
I hope so, too. John,
Yes.
Thanks for the call, buddy. I appreciate it. 913-810-810. You're the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
Well, you are my guy. God bless you. Where are all the guys like you?
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen, soccer's biggest
This
stage
wasn't
is
how Patrick pictured
coming to
himself.
Kansas City. Trust me. Hold on. Just give me a second here. First, hear me out about my friends at Hen House. All right? You can go to henhouse.com and find all kinds of specials. By now, I would hope you know that. Make sure you got that loyalty card. That's where you can get the extra savings. Go to henhouse.com and see all kinds of specials. We got the world's biggest stage of soccer is coming to Kansas City here very soon. How about, your journey to a world of flavor? Starts right there at your neighborhood Hen House. If you want to celebrate the beautiful game coming with the World Cup, take your taste buds global with a trip to Austria featuring crispy golden Wiener Schnitzel. It's delightful. I love it. I've had it. I got a friend who's from Germany. He makes wonderful Wiener Schnitzel. Head over to the Netherlands for some hearty, comforting Stampit. Craving something bold? Try Tunisia's fresh and flavorful Macau salad, or savor the rich, unforgettable taste of Argentina with perfectly prepared beef Milanese. I don't know. I'm not the best with the pronunciations. Let's be honest. Look, Hen House has all the specials you could want. How about maybe you're just firing up the grill and you want the best steaks around? USDA Choice Certified Hereford Beef. It's right there at your neighborhood Hen House. The only place you're going to get it. Best tasting chicken around? Yes, they got that as well. Hen House gets their chicken from Ozark Mountain Country. That's freshness. That's right down the road. You can't beat the freshness, and it's just $2.99 a pound. Great seafood selection as well back at the meat counter. It's all at your neighborhood Hen House. And don't forget about that award-winning salad bar or the delicatessen, which if you're going to have your own party at home, they've got party trays. They've got everything you want. They can put an incredible spread together for you. Just go to henhouse.com. That's henhouse.com. Find everything you need. Now, 100% teammate owned.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Patio season is back, and Red Door Grill is the place to be. Grab a seat outside, settle in, and make it the best part of your week. Mondays, come enjoy the classic burger for just $6. Tuesdays, half off the bar from 3 to 6, and so much more throughout the week. Scratch-made favorites, cold drinks, and a patio that's hard to leave. With 6 locations, find your Red Door at reddoorgrill.com. Red Door Grill. Get in here.
At Falcon Lakes Golf Club, the experience doesn't end on
You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're talking Chiefs draft with you, Danny Unleashed, coming up next hour, 913-3810810, the phone number. Let's talk to John, number 2. John, you're still number 1 in our book, though. What's going on, buddy?
I was going to say that split second finding out if I was going to be John number 1 or number 2 was the most exciting about that all week. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah,
are you, hey, real quick, are you on a speakerphone or something? Because we're having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, I took the headphones out. Is it better?
Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Go ahead now.
There we go. So going into the draft, basically, with the whole trading around, I just didn't want the Chiefs to touch those first 3 picks, as in
they needed to still have 3 of those top 40 picks. I think some of those early mock draft scenarios were that they would trade 40 to move up, and I would have been pretty irate with that. It's almost like Veach is doing kind of exactly what he led us to believe he was going to do. He mentioned that the top end of corner was elite, that the top end of defensive tackle was good, and then there was tons of depth at defensive end. So would assume he goes defensive end there. To your point about Delane, I completely agree. He's got to be a multi-Pro Bowl guy to justify that pick. I did think it was interesting what Veach said right after the draft, where he acknowledged we do well developing corners, and I felt like that was his nice way of saying, but this ain't the year that's going to happen because the corners in the middle of this draft just aren't that good.
Yeah, I mean, I think clearly that's what he thought. I mean, that's the way he drafted based upon it. I think your read on it's very good, and yeah, we all agree you can't miss at 6. That's got to be a home run now. I like what they got in Woods, and I'm eager to see what they do. If 40 becomes 52 and they get 77, they get another pick back, I'll be pretty excited. If they peel back from there, that to me, I'll be like, okay, I see where you got the picks back, and now you're still going, because I think they need quantity. Then it would be you move to 5th basically to get up because you got this pick back later on, and so we'll know more of the story after today for sure, and we'll know the whole story. Goes without saying after Saturday, but they can't miss. This corner has to be special.
No, I completely agree with that, and I do agree with what Sam said this morning on your pod. I don't love the huge gap between 40 and their next pick, but at the same time, if we're going to acknowledge that this isn't the best draft, maybe taking a lot of shots isn't the best approach in this draft. We'll see. I do agree with you. That's why I think that McDuffie trade, the biggest thing going back to that is that 3rd that they get next year, where I would be furious is if they're moving up from 40 to 34 and sending that 3rd-round pick from next year away. At that point, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, if they move up from what do they got next? 109. If 109 plus next year's 3rd, gets them into the 3rd, low 3rd this year, then that's going to be irritating as well. I'm with you. I mean, that was one of the things I liked, and thank you, John, for the call. Was that go ahead, start getting those picks next year will come around. Mm-hmm. There'll be some years where they're a little lower, some years where they're way higher, and they'll have a bigger value. But that's how you end up with more picks, which to me is the best way to have a good draft. Mr. Dickey, you're in the program. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. First of all, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed your segment last week with your mock draft that you guys did, your simulator.
Thank you.
And so I'm kind of echoing a little bit of the Johns. I feel like the sports bar I was at last night, we all kind of cringed, and we're all like, I heard a couple audible no's when they said the Chiefs have traded up. Right. The problem for me, and I think most people, nobody has a problem that we took the corner. Everybody's fine and happy to take the number 1 corner on the problem is, what I've heard today through the day is the Chiefs were worried that the Commanders or the Saints might have taken the cornerback. And I keep thinking to myself, well, worst case scenario, yes, they take them. So then what does that mean for the Chiefs if that, God forbid, happens at number 6 or 7 or 8 and they don't get the cornerback? Then they're going to have to settle. What are the other guys just like, is Sonny Styles, is Reuben Bain, any of the 2 receivers left that everybody loved? I mean, are those guys just consolation prizes that people are like, oh, I guess we're going to have to stick with Sonny Styles now? Like, I don't understand why this cornerback was if we would have got him at 9, great, that's fine. But to give up the assets like we are, like, to me, that didn't make.
Well, I think to your point, we keep talking about how he needs to rank against other corners. He needs to be better than Sonny Styles, a lot better. He needs to be better than, Caleb Downs. He needs to be better than, Maui Noah, who went at 10. I mean, all those guys that you were in the neighborhood that you could have drafted instead of. If he's a pretty good corner and the other 3 guys are Hall of Famers, you blew it.
Yeah. And Schrager had earlier in the day, yesterday or 2 days ago, he said, what if they trade with Dallas and go 12, trade back to 12, and then trade up to 20. And I think every Chiefs fan was like, that sounds great, unanimously. And to me, just there was plenty of secondary that's still available, and I don't think that's hindsight. I think we knew there were going to be a lot of safeties and corners that are quality at 29, and I just don't see why they had to have this one guy that was just must have at 6 or our whole draft seems ruined. So anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you know, the answer has to be that he's really, really good, right? That has to be the answer. Jeff, you're in the program. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, how's it going today, Soren?
Good.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. We actually met at the Senator Hall of Fame induction a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Yeah, my brother-in-law was getting inducted there. That's great. Good to hear from you.
Right. Yeah. Maybe it's a bit of a contrarian view, but I actually love the pick. I feel like we did give up a lot for him, but I suspect Dallas was going to move up, and I think that's why they made the move. I think there's such a gap between him and the other cornerbacks on the board. That's why they made the move.
Certainly the rest of the league thought so, because another one didn't go for a long, long time.
That's right. He's intelligent, which Spags likes. He can play zone, man. I just didn't love the second pick as much.
Okay.
I would have liked to have seen Zion Jones there.
Zion Young from Mizzou?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Sorry.
No problem here, buddy.
Boston, the wide receiver.
Boston, that's interesting because the 6'4" wideout from Washington you're talking about?
Exactly, yep.
He did not run a 40, which usually means he's slow. And the Chiefs do not like slow wideouts. That's one of the reasons why I don't.
That's the knock.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good complement to the guys we have on the roster.
I agree. I think there are a couple of kids, like if you look down on the, let me see if I got I can't remember if I opened my book up yet or not. No, I haven't. I'll get it open here. But there's a couple of wideouts down in the later rounds where there's one from North Dakota State and one from Georgia Southern that are like 6'3", 6'4", and both run sub 4.4s.
Ted Hurst, I believe.
Hurst is one of them. And then the Lambs or Lambs, Lamz, something like that, I think is the North Dakota State kid, that are guys that are like that bigger receiver. I know a lot of people want to see a bigger receiver. The smaller school guys, which isn't usually the direction they want to go, but they're a lot faster. And I think, we heard Brett Veach. I started looking at that last night when we got done because he said there'll be a pocket of wide receivers in the third and the fourth. So I started thinking, okay, who are the third and fourths? And I think somebody like that's maybe a little bit more of a project because they played at a slightly lower level might be someone they're zeroing in on that. And I think we'll all feel better if they grab one of those guys later on.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the insight, and thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, you bet, Jeff. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. And good to hear from you again.
Small world.
Been a couple of years since that happened. I do think there's some wideouts that could be a real possibility for the Chiefs later on in that third and fourth round. Let's hope so. They're going to need it. So,
fourth round, hope at least.
Yeah. I can be optimistic that they move down in 40 and get me a third. And, I'll be a lot happier if they do.
Some numbers and see how far that down they'd have to go to get a third without giving up another pick.
We'll unleash Danny Clinkscale next here in the program.
All right, who's the only team to draft 4 players in the first round of an NFL draft? Brought to you by Twin Peaks.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
Familiar howl. David Lee Roth means it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to Danny Klingscale. He always loves being shepherded.
He's my hype man.
Shepherded in. That would be right. Shepherded in.
Yes, it would.
By David Lee Roth and his spandex pants.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's my hype man.
Huge fan. You are, Danny, of the Van Halen.
And the greatest rhythm guitar player in history.
We are huge fans of Easton Roofing. We've had more storms blow through, so whether it's your home or your business, Easton Roofing has dedicated commercial division. They can help you out residentially as well. They handle repairs, full roof replacements. They've got experience with every type of commercial roof. They work with property managers, building owners, multifamily properties, you name it, they've done it. The biggest buildings in Kansas City. Yes, Easton Roofing has put the roof on those as well. They diagnose the problem correctly, not just patching symptoms. Minimize tenant disruption. That means they've got a plan on how they're going to get their equipment in where they're not tearing your whole traffic flow apart. Protect your business long term. Call the best in Kansas City. Call Easton Roofing at 913-257-5426. If you manage a commercial property, if you own a commercial property, Easton Roofing has you covered as well. Find them online at eastonroofing.com. Danny, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing just fine, Soren. It's a beautiful day. And,
yes, it is.
We're in the midst of the NFL draft, and, I'm not Roger Goodell. But I get that off my chest off the air.
You're not
entirely.
Yeah. Apparently not.
No, not Roger Goodell. I don't get that. What's he make? $50 million?
It's a lot of money. He makes, for a job that I'm sure is more complicated than I think. But
I don't think it's that complicated. Otherwise, I don't think he could do it. But I kind of feel sorry for the guy. I do. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to eat. To get booed lustily. I mean, I don't quite understand.
So let's talk about the broadcast. Let's talk. We haven't really gotten into the broadcast,
right.
So let's talk about that. A friend of mine said, I don't know why they bring him out there. Why not just get a host? What if you had, John Hamm this year and
like the Oscars,
Justin Timberlake? Right? Yeah, somebody who comes out and
agreed.
Just, kind of does
Maybe
it.
he demands it, even though he goes out there and just has to eat crap for
I don't know
first round.
If they had never had the commissioner do it and tell him, I'd buy that he demands it. It's just kind of always been the way it's been done, but he doesn't do it after day one.
No.
So why not go get a host, at least for night one?
Yeah.
Then send one of your lieutenants out.
Or after night one, let him do it. They probably wouldn't have a lot of energy to boo then.
Yeah.
It's not night one. I can't imagine this. Round two, here we go. Boo!
Did you like 8 minutes?
I did.
I hate it.
Well, I know that you enjoy all the others, but also I was at an event, so I didn't start the draft till 8:40, so 8 minutes didn't matter to me. All it meant is I get to the next pick faster on DVR.
I was literally wide awake when I went home and I watched it back because we were on the air and watching and then on the air, and so I watched the whole thing back on the replay last night, and I would like more analysis. I mean, I do think the league is, and I think somebody said something around pick 20. Because it was becoming like the NBA draft. A lot of people, if you just watched on TV, you don't realize this. But we had a number of people we watched on Twitter like, I can't believe the Chiefs traded up for Arvell Reese, didn't even get him. Because the trade came out on Twitter. People seemed to hear that. That seemed to go viral. They didn't realize that Arvell Reese had already been picked when they made the trade, but they saw the trade before the TV had caught up and Arvell Reese had been announced. So they assumed the Chiefs were trading up to get Arvell Reese because they've read everywhere that they're going to go edge. And so then they were pissed for a while that the Chiefs blundered and traded up and didn't get the guy they wanted, when that wasn't the case at all, because the NFL owns both networks carrying the freaking draft, and they can't even keep a lid on what's going on.
Well, the other part is they seem to have some connectivity issues, delays and because the draft choice things, when they weren't there, they were way behind. Like the kid had already been picked like a long time, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and the kid's still sitting there talking on the phone.
I think that was a replay. I don't think that was live at all. I think they were replaying what they had already recorded. The problem is that everybody's like, well, it's here's the deal. You notice no one from ESPN, Adam Schefter's not tweeting out anymore who's been picked. Because ESPN and NFL Network, NFL.com, NFL Network people have been told, don't put this out. Okay? Do not put it out. So you know who puts it out? Jordan Schultz. You know who he works for? Fox. He doesn't care. He's not under the deal. And so we said last night, listen, if you're watching, because we get emails from people that like, love your guys' coverage, actually like the radio better, listening to you guys while watching it on TV, which we know there's a delay now with everybody. Everybody's streaming in some way, shape, or form now, and there's a little bit of a delay. But I'm like, we had to make a choice. Are we going to go with the TV or are we going to go with well, they're 2 picks ahead. And the assumption is, so where are they getting it from? Where are the people getting it? They're getting it from the agents. And so everybody wants to villainize the agent. That's what agents do. They want the word on the street as fast as possible that their guy went, so come sign up with me because I'm the agent who got this guy drafted. The problem is the damn coaches and general managers. Don't call the kid until you see it picked on the television. You can stand up and bro hug each other like you actually did something more than just go, eeny, meeny, miny. You can all sit around and hug and slobber over each other and shake hands and everything, but don't call him until we've announced it. But it's like this control freak thing that coaches just like, no, I control everything. I'm going to call before the broadcast. They're not going to dictate to me what's going to go on. So I'm going to call the kid. I can't believe that you own everything and you still can't put on a competent broadcast. It just speaks to how unbelievably popular the NFL is because they screw up most things that have to do with us getting to consume their product, and it's still unbelievably number one.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think also people have a choice. I mean, you can just watch the broadcast, and then you won't have the issues we're talking about. I mean, do you need to know 45 seconds before? That
and I wonder how much of our opinion of it is.
Well, hang on. That's true.
Right.
That is true. That's unequivocally true. But that is not the world that people younger than us live in. It's not even the world Kurtis lives in. I sat at lunch today with Kurtis, and until his food got put in front of him, Lebo and I were 3rd and 4th on his. When he was, look at this. You're an F1 guy. You know, he's
part of it. I was hearing stories I'd already heard, so I'm like, all right, I'm good. I've heard that one before.
But I mean, like, so I was actually calling you young.
I know. I'm just saying they have a choice. If you don't like it, watch the broadcast. Now I will say that I think the broadcast has morphed a little bit into, I don't know if it's because, Kuiper's back with a bigger role or other people aren't there who they didn't want to pay as much or whatever, but it's gotten to be a little happy fest about the players. I mean, when it comes time to, say, what do you think of so-and-so? It's like,
Who owns the network?
It's like they gush over
Who owns ESPN now?
I know.
Yeah. The NFL owners own part of the network. You think there hasn't been an edict to kiss ass?
Not going to
talk
down
I guess
our
it's
product.
a little different than maybe on the broadcast because Mel Kiper's fully willing on his breakdown today to say that he thought the Chiefs didn't like either one of their picks. For instance, maybe he just doesn't want to do it on the broadcast because it's a bigger platform. I don't know, but anyway, I still enjoy watching that. But I found it like. On the TV, they were saying that most of these guys were super great and they were great picks. Like I wasn't getting really that much analysis. What I was getting
my God, have you watched the MLB draft?
No.
First of all, we all know 98% of those guys are going to be garbage. And they get into the sandwich picks and are talking like, what's your comp? DiMaggio?
Yeah.
What's your comp?
Walter
Maddox?
Johnson.
Like, I mean, there isn't anybody that's just going to be a utility infielder. These are all budding stars. I mean, I'm just like, could you go over why this guy's going to bust? Because most of these guys are only going to get to the big leagues because they drafted him. And they want to say, like, well, he got to the big leagues.
Right.
Like, it's,
Yeah. And even when it was.
And by the way, who broadcasts that? MLB Network.
Yeah. Right. And even before ESPN was under the NFL's umbrella, every single highlight package, it's always, here's all the great plays they did. You never see, he's a wide receiver goes at 17. Here's 5 drops that he had last year.
For instance, what's the biggest story, really? The biggest story in the draft this year, I would say, is Ruben Bain's short arms. If you were going to pick one story.
Yes, I would agree.
That's okay. Why not on the tape breakdown? Will you show me where his short arms are hurting him?
We'd like to know.
But you know why?
I'm with you.
You know what's hard about it? They didn't hurt him. Now they're saying they're going to hurt him at the next level where they're better players and so on and so forth. But that was fun. I guess one of my regrets. I'm with the caller who said I was, I groaned or I didn't like what the Chiefs did. I didn't.
Okay, let's go there. I think people care about the broadcast, but not that much.
Not that much.
So, what should they have done? Let's put it that way.
Well, I think they certainly, to me, they shouldn't have made the trade because I don't think that this guy better be like. I was trying to think of what I thought, what I think he better be top 3 defensive rookie of the year, all pro, all 4 years under the first contractor until they decide whether they're going to re-up him, and 2 out of 4 all pro. Otherwise,
all pro or Pro Bowl? What do you mean all pro?
I said Pro Bowl all 4 years.
Okay,
and 2 of them
all pro.
All pro,
okay.
or no, early 3rd and early 5th. Those guys are supposed to make your team, and they're going to play. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy worth 3 players? Now, maybe he will be. Maybe this guy's going to be Darrell Revis.
Right.
I will say this: they got the best dressed player in the draft last night.
he is good looking.
Looking good.
He is looking
sharp,
good. Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't like Ty Simpson and his, Merrill Lynch outfit, whatever that was. I mean, come on, man. You're young. Lay it out there. Maybe one time in your life. I know you're probably a straight-laced kid, but whatever. Come on. Have some fun.
So you didn't like the khakis and blue blazer?
No, not really. Not so much.
Buster Brown shoes.
Right. But white
gold
shirt,
toe
white
socks.
shirt, black tie. I mean,
Dockers.
Really? So anyway. So I that to me, and also, for instance,
don't anybody call Danny an old white guy, okay?
No, I'm not.
Because he just busted ass for a guy dressing like an old white guy.
Yeah, that wasn't even that's bad for an old white guy. That looks like an old white funeral director or something. I mean, come on, man. I would have worn Tulane's outfit proudly. I'd wear it today. And everyone would go, what the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know that you pull it off because I'm not qualified to make that assessment clearly.
Right.
But you do not dress your age, Dan.
No, I don't. But anyway, I'm skinny enough to do it, so I could do it. But anyway. So
what, he's Kurtis and I?
So
we can't be hipster?
No, you can hipster.
Just stick to the moo-moos, badasses.
There's a lot of hefty rappers who could teach you some things about dressing.
That's true. That's true.
It's just more expensive.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because there's more stuff there.
What do you say? Just get drafted and go out and buy your sister and your mom a car right away, like the other draft choice did. Destination? Done. I got drafted. Here, Mom. Here's a car. Here's a car. I'm done.
Yeah, but listen.
I'm done.
Nowadays,
OTAs? No, I ain't showing.
How many?
I got my cars.
Listen, I'm like in basketball now. Flory Badunga will take a pay cut when his eligibility is done. I mean, I don't know where we're at in football, but there's a reason why there's more old guys because these guys, 4th and 5th rounders, are making more. They're stars at their school, but they're a middle linebacker, so they're getting
right,
$1 million to play at Clemson, and they're going to make the league mini.
Right. So I didn't, and then the other pick seemed to be a reach, and they didn't get an edge rusher.
You think Woods is a reach? I don't think he's a reach.
I do think he's a reach.
Why?
Well, his production was
off from where it was the year before, but it wasn't trash.
I think it was about as it seemed to me in looking at people's breakdowns. I don't study gobs of film. I look at some, but
right.
But you should be kind of a game wrecker if you're a first-round D tackle, and I didn't see that.
Well, I think that's where you get into some of the nuance, like how many real first-rounders are there? Right. He's not one of them. I agree, but they were done. My list was done at. Well, McCoy is still out there, but he's having more surgery. I don't know who the last one would have been for me, but anyway. They all came flying off the board pretty quick, and so then you have the pick. You got to take somebody. Now I would like to have seen them doing what the Bills were doing, back up,
I was
back up.
Said they must have been your favorite team. They traded back
The Bills?
3 times.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
I said earlier, I said they damn near got an 8th round pick.
The Niners did it as well. I thought it was well played. And to your point, if you think Woods was a reach, then they should have been able to keep backing up and still got their guy.
Well, the other part is I've seen more than one report that said there was around a 90% chance that Delane was going to be there at 9 anyway.
Right. And
now, if you're
that was from ESPN Analytics. They had that out there.
Right.
Brett Beach says no.
Right. I know he says no, and hey, 90% still leaves 10%. You love the guy enough to pay. If they clearly thinks this is a defensive Patrick Mahomes because you paid a big price for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Two other players.
I wouldn't go that far, but they gave a lot.
They gave a lot.
Yeah, they gave a lot.
And so if these 2 players are great, then they did their job. But, and then I was sitting there watching the next few picks. Of course, the next pick they wouldn't have had. But if they were worried about Washington, then Washington would have taken Delane. And so then you've got a couple of nice tackles. You got the wide receiver you said tested so well with you.
Yeah. We had a call earlier. It's like
Caleb Downs is supposed to be like a surefire, fine player.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you were getting miscongeniality if you didn't get this guy. He better be great. That's all.
Here's the defense I would make for it. He's the number 1 corner.
And there wasn't another corner.
And another one didn't go for a long time.
27.
And it is a definitive. My irk is I think the draft should be about building your football team every time and not how do we get better this year. And
also, we lost a great corner. We need a great corner.
Right.
That seems a little too simplistic for me.
I agree. And Steve Spagnuolo is the highest paid defensive coordinator in football. Scheme some things up, man.
And what have they done best?
Play defense for 3 years.
Right. And also, what have they done
build
best?
A secondary,
build a secondary out of whole cloth.
But I'll say to that, the same thing is like that's you can do it. You shouldn't. That shouldn't be the plan.
I know, but for instance,
it's the defensive version of Mahomes.
Before, yeah, he's the defensive version of Mahomes. But you know what? In a couple of years, he's going to be sitting on a beach.
I don't mean it that way.
I do agree. I'm with you.
Don't make him happy.
I am with you. I mean, Brett Beach needs to be drafting for the long haul, and he's got a 67-year-old head coach, and Spags is right around the same age.
I think. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I do agree. I worry very much about that. That is in the back of my head, and I think you're right to bring it up, that we as fans need to worry about it because, generally speaking, the teams that win, you're more likely to win a championship playing the long game, and then it came together quicker than you thought. See 2022. 2022 was a rebuilding year for the Kansas City Chiefs. They took all these young defensive backs. Steve Spagnuolo didn't want to play young defensive backs. He had to play young defensive backs. And guess what? They were good because Brett Beach kicked ass in the draft. And they won the championship that year. And so to me, when you make the right decisions for the long haul, it will eventually come together. If you trade it up because you're like, we have to have a corner, that's where you make mistakes. Because you start convincing yourself this is worth it. We have to have this. You should never have to have anything.
Well, I
am concerned from that standpoint. But
I said last week that I thought the draft would indicate whether the Chiefs thought that this was a restructuring, a rebuild, as they used the word a couple times, or if they thought that last year was really just an aberration and they were just a little bit off and they're going to bounce right back to being great. This first round indicates that they think they can that was just a double bogey on the 18th hole, and they're going to be back to being Scotty Scheffler again next year.
It definitely, the first round definitely says that we're fine on offense. Kenneth Walker fixed it all. Right. That and getting rid of Matt Nagy, we got a new scheme. It's going to work, and Kenneth Walker's the only piece we need. I do agree. Now, they may go offense here, and we'll view it differently.
Yeah, when we get wide out at 40.
Yeah, with new information, I reserve the right to change my opinion. But they went defense early, and I know they lost some defensive pieces. I get it. But they were 10th in defense, and they were 21st in offense. And without Patrick Mahomes, they were 51st. Like, they went from 10th when he went down to 21st in 3 games. That means what was going on around him, scheme and talent, was not good. And they've changed offensive coordinators to a guy that had been here before. And, okay, all right, so...
And we still know who the real offensive coordinator is.
Yes, it's Andy Reid.
And it's the same guy.
Yes.
Now, the member of your podcast team, Sam McDowell, wrote today that this the first round indicates that the Chiefs philosophically are going to change, and they're going to run the football more, and they're going to take the pressure off Patrick Mahomes and take the pressure off a receiver room that could be dicey. By the way, the one fact I read in his column today that I couldn't believe is that Hollywood Brown led the Chiefs in receptions and touchdowns last year. Their wide receivers, Hollywood Brown. And by the way,
who was a Titanic disappointment.
And by the way, he's gone. So, it's. But like I said, the mitigating factor to this is if they drafted two great players, then I'll just have to shut up.
Agreed.
But I can only analyze. I can only analyze
huh?
what's in front of me right now, and the way they could have handled the draft and gotten two more good football players.
Which you should assume they'd be good because you're supposed to be good at what you're doing.
Right, and it's an early third and an early fifth.
Unless they take a wide receiver at 40 and they can't get their edge and they can't rush the passer, and Monsieur Delane can shut guys down all day, but he has to cover for
the other part
5
is
seconds
the
every play.
defensive secondary that the Chiefs built, generally with not high draft choices, also operated pretty well over the span of the Chiefs being good without any pass rush. And lots of blitzing. So they were put under duress a lot, and they were still pretty good.
By the way, Steve Spagnuolo turned 66 last December.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah,
they're basically it's almost essentially the same age.
Well, I think that's it's an important note.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and I think Steve Spagnuolo is still on his game. But,
I do too.
But you don't have to, say, well, boy, you've been doing the heavy lifting for a few years, Steve. Here's a break. Here's some nice shiny toys for you. No, the shiny toys goes to the younger brother.
Well, let's
the guy's operating the offense.
Yes.
Well, and I think Andy Reid is always we talked a lot that in Philadelphia, 9 of his first 14 selections were defensive linemen. He was always like, I'll figure it out over here. You need the help. Here it is. And I don't know that Andy Reid, maybe the game has caught up to him. Maybe he hasn't fallen back, but it's caught up with all the analytics. Maybe everyone's reverse engineered what he does. They've all caught up to him. Maybe he slipped a little. I don't care what the answer is, but I know this. I still think what he has to practice what he preaches. And he talks about these games, they all come right down to the end. They're all so close. Yes, and you don't win close games with defense. You win close games with offense. You win close games because now, back in the day, when Andy Reid first got here, it was a fair statement for him to say, listen, when people would bitch, well, you scored too fast. And you're like, but you got to score. That's the most important thing. There are people that would almost rather you not make it on fourth down and lose the game because you turn the ball over than go down and score and leave 55 seconds for the other team to score. That's where it was in 2013. But in 2026, that's not how it is anymore. Right. The offenses are so good, you have to score on time. Scoring on time is not part of it. That was an unfair criticism of Andy Reid in 2013. It's not unfair in 26. It's definitely not unfair with Patrick Mahomes.
And it's definitely not unfair in a landscape where you pretty much, if you're talking about a close game, generally that one means one where a field goal is going to be important. You basically now usually need 2 first downs to kick a field goal. Back then, you probably had to drive to be feeling pretty good. You had to drive to the 25, maybe, to think okay, we're good.
You were starting at the 20, and now they've rigged the rules to start at the 35, so you're...
And the other team's dead afraid of doing stuff, so you're generally starting at the 32 or the 38. I mean, so you just make a couple plays, and you kick a field goal, and all's good.
I said this to one of the callers, 2:05 to go and 2 timeouts.
Right, I heard that.
All right, at 4th and 1. What do you want to do? Everyone in this town wants Patrick Mahomes to go get it and win it, right? Well, so then help him. And I'm going to tell you that, I don't want to hear these offenses today are so good. So then make yours better. It is part of the game now is you got to outscore some people. So let's take a break. I want to ask you about who you would have taken, how you would have done it differently. Danny Clinkscale is with us, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, offering residential roofing repair and replacement. Some companies don't do repairs. A lot of times you can save a lot of money. They just come in, no, I got to do the whole roof. You can get a free storm damage inspection right now with Easton Roofing. They'll walk you through all the steps. Filing the claim properly is very important. Easton Roofing can guide you through that entire process, known for honest communications, clear expectations. They handle both insurance claims and retail roofing projects built on integrity. It's Easton Roofing. Call 913-257-5426. Talk to a real live person 24/7, 365 days a year at 913-257-5426. They're online at eastonroofing.com.
The program with Soren Petro. Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, I don't know about you, but I am no plumber. I proved it to myself. There was one time on a Saturday I spent more than 6 hours going back and forth to the hardware store trying to get the right piece. Listen, it was a simple fix. I'm just a simple guy. I couldn't figure it out. I'm certainly not going to figure out a problem with the water heater. I'm definitely not going to figure out how to do a septic issue, a sewer issue. I got problems with that main line coming in from the street. You need a real plumber. That's why I called the Plumbing Pro. Tim Grunhard turned me on to the right answer. It's the one you know. The one to know is the Plumbing Pro. They've been serving Kansas City since 1980. Coach Steve has been here. He's raised his family here, all right? It's what they do. They're local Kansas City people. More and more, you might see some trucks rolling around town with some names that are familiar. Do some homework. I'll bet you find out that they're now owned by an out-of-town company, and the level of service goes down with it. I know. We used to have a plumber. Found out that the service was getting worse and worse and worse. I couldn't figure out why. Found out that they had sold like 5 years before. Not here. They're absolutely the best. The Plumbing Pro is Kansas City's best, no matter what you need. Sewer, septic, drain installation, repair, hot water heaters, you name it. You know they even do the tub and shower replacements. I know, because we had them do ours. In fact, if you call and ask for the Petro deal, you can get $2,000 off a new tub or shower with the Plumbing Pro. Locally owned and operated, serving Kansas City since 1980. No matter what your plumbing need is, the one to know is the Plumbing Pro. Call 816-763-8200 or go to theplumbingpro.com. Remember the THE, theplumbingpro.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
James Taylor here with La Bodega Restaurant on the Boulevard. Well, here comes the sun, and La Bodega's world-famous patio dining is open. Grab a friend or two and celebrate with our 20 choices of hot or cold toppings.
Yes, they do. The Twin Peaks end of the hour answer: who is the only team to draft 4 players in the first round of an NFL draft?
Oh, 4 players. Jets did 3 last night.
4.
Oof.
I better.
Cowboys sounds like something maybe Jimmy Johnson kept peeling back and getting future picks or something like that.
Yep.
No idea.
The
That
picks were 12, 13, 18, and 27.
Sounds like a terrible team that made some trades. I'll say the Jets did. Oh, the Jets did it last night. I'll say the Jets did it before.
The Jets did it in 2000.
Really?
Yes, and the players they got.
Hang on. Give me the positions. I'll see if I can get you the players.
First one was a defensive end at 12, and he was quite good.
Okay.
Started 150
What
games.
2000?
2000.
John Abraham?
He was
John
he
Abraham?
was the second one.
Okay.
He went at 13. He played 60. Had 64 starts for the Jets and was a Pro Bowler.
Kyle Brady is he part of that one? No.
You got another defensive
give
end.
me all 4 positions. Was it
defensive
DN?
end, defensive end, quarterback, tight end. There was a tight end, but it wasn't Brady.
John Mitchell.
Anthony Becht.
Was it Mitchell?
Anthony Becht.
Anthony Becht. Okay.
He was the fourth. He went number 27.
Browning Nagel.
Won a playoff game for him.
Oh, he did, huh?
Or played in a playoff game. I won a playoff game for him.
And what pick number was he?
18.
The curly-haired guy from. He was a pretty good player, and I think people have forgotten about him. I'm going to be mad when I can't get his name.
Curly-haired Jet quarterback.
Yeah,
from Marshall.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pennington.
Chad Pennington. He went number 18.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you've got a defensive end from Tennessee, who played 156 starts for the Jets.
Wasn't he a big fella? Wasn't like John Abraham.
Let me see. No, this guy was, pulling it up, he was 6'5", 290.
That's big, especially for then.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm drawing a complete blank. From where? From Tennessee?
Tennessee.
I remember like John Henderson and Albert Hainsworth coming out of there.
From
But
2000 to 2010, ended his career 1 year with the Pats in 11. Sean Ellis.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
No, I don't
4
feel
picks.
bad.
The Jets
No, I don't either.
just
I don't feel
routinely irritating their fans with their draft. They had 4 picks that day, and all 4 of them were pretty decent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not bad.
Chad Pennington was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think
He's the last Jet quarterback to well, other than Mark Sanchez. Yeah, he was like 2 guys have won a playoff game in the last 25 years.
Danny Klingsky, a little Danny Unleashed with you here on a Friday, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. You know, Easton Roofing offers siding repair, full siding replacement. Great way to upgrade curb appeal, protect your home. They partner with James Hardy Siding Products. James Hardy Fiber Cement, known for durability and long-term performance. It's installed according to manufacturer standards, ideal for siding that's rotting, faded, storm damaged. Call Easton Roofing today. It holds up to the Kansas City weather. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters. Find them online at eastonroofing.com. Danny, so what should they have done?
Oh, that's pretty simple for me. If I would have stayed there and I would have taken Reuben Bain.
Yeah, I'm not on the Reuben Bain train.
I am.
Okay.
I am. I think the performance is there. I felt even more. I think.
Where was the performance the first half of the year? I keep hearing the performance is there, and there's no doubt. I'd rather him be really good against really good opponents.
Right.
I think he's a high floor guy. I don't think there's much ceiling at all. And so, but he had 7 sacks through the regular season. Then he had 7 in the playoffs. And everybody, when they quote 14, how did he only have 7 in the regular season? Doesn't that concern you a little?
Well, they had another guy who got a lot of sacks too, so I think that could be part of
that's
it.
fair.
The other thing that made me feel good about that I would pick him is he looks like a very serious person about football, and I think now he's pissed. So I think he'll be a highly motivated player in addition to being a good player. So I would have done that, and that 5 years from now I might have. Tommy Moe reaching out to me going, what an idiot you were. Reuben Bain's out of the league.
Well, he's going to do that either way, so it doesn't really matter. He'll make it up if it's not true. What would you have done over Woods?
I would have picked an edge there and taken a flyer on that. Maybe
Keldrick Falk from Auburn, Zion Young. Falk went 31. He went 2 picks later.
Yeah, I probably would have picked one of those edges. One of the ones you liked. I never like picking a local player, honestly, unless you absolutely are convicted in it, because it always looks like you're I think there's more pressure on that player. It's harder to cut him. All kinds of different dynamics there. But still, I probably would have picked an edge there. There were some there. Obviously, the best ones are gone, but you have a great tutor for a D tackle who, made all his.
So Zion Young is it? Because I want to write something down and track it against what they did. Okay.
I'll take Zion Young.
Okay.
Or the other guy who was right there in front of him.
Well, pick
but
one.
I'll pick Zion Young just to be. But I said I would prefer not to pick the local guy, but Zion Young's fine.
Okay.
And I think some of the other players, like when I was watching the draft, as each pick was being made after the corner, I'm like, geez, I don't know. I would have maybe liked him better. It looks like a stout offensive tackle there. They could use that. He's just it looks like he's what you said about Reuben Bain. I think that's almost impossible. The guy will be bad or will fail. I'm just saying you've created a situation where he's got to be a standout, a player that you're going to have trouble re-signing because he's so good, or that you're going to break the bank to re-sign. That's the kind of player he's got to be.
He's got to be really good. I mean, I'm not re-signing a corner ever.
Right.
If you put me in charge. But I mean, there might be if you draft a guy at 20, and I'll re-sign him at 24 maybe. Right.
And I'm always worried about.
By 20, I mean 20 years old, not at pick number 20.
And I know there's fine players from LSU all over the league, but I am always worried about picking guys from LSU. And I think that.
What about a guy from Virginia Tech?
Well, he was for Virginia Tech most of the time.
Yeah.
But when his performances last year is at LSU, surrounded by generally super elite talent, whether it's coached well or not. They usually have the cream of the crop, top 5 teams in the country, probably as far as raw talent. So you're surrounded by other great players. That always worries me. I think the culture at LSU is more fun than football generally. So I don't know how committed a player you're going to get. But Jamar Chase is just fine.
Yeah, I do agree that sometimes, the Bamas and the LSUs and the Ohio States, like, well, who was the guy that really – is he great at covering, or does no quarterback have 2 seconds to throw? I mean, but when you go through and watch every snap, I think you can unravel that. I think linebackers are a tough one to judge there. But I really feel like I don't think you should miss on wideout, corner, defensive end, or offensive tackle. Because I think those are the 2 matchups on the field. Unless a team just plays zone, then you have to mark your guy down because I don't know if he can cover man-to-man. They never did it. But for the most part, you play man-to-man at some point, and then you get to see, okay, does he have what it takes? And on edge, the tackles alone, did they chip every time? Well, then this guy sucks, right? But if he went one-on-one with edge rushers in the SEC or Big Ten, and you can't figure out whether a tackle can block or an edge can get by a tackle or a corner can cover or a wideout can get open, then, here's the door.
Right. And it looks like from watching and listening, it looks like Delane can play man and zone.
Yeah, I think
both.
I don't think
he's going to be. I think he's going to be a fine player.
I don't think anybody minds the player. It's just the cost to go get him.
Right, and the fact that because of the cost, I think the pressure for him, not on him maybe, but just for me to be satisfied with the pick is he's got to be like, oh boy, you just don't even throw over there. For 4 years, you just don't even throw over there on that side of the field. That's how good he's going to be for me.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, yeah, that's fair. What do they do now? Now what do you do at 40?
Probably got to look for edge. Or to me, edge or toys for the offense. I would be pleased with a wide receiver.
I want some toys.
Right. I mean, he needs some more toys. I mean, it's clear that the rest of the guys, no matter how highly you thought they were, whether they've shown performance skills at times, the proof is that you have a great quarterback and the offense has been meh for years now, a few years now. And so the rest of the guys aren't that good, or you're not using them properly. You got a lot of money tied up in an offensive line, and you don't run the football. So they brought over a high-priced running back. They better run the football. but you don't take the ball, you don't run it like, the old Steelers or something and have 2,000-yard backs. You've got Patrick Mahomes. You use him to take the heat off Patrick Mahomes. But if you've paid for that to be a strength of your team, and it's not working for whatever reason, so get somebody else who can make a difference. Maybe get somebody who's like a third down maker, because your third down maker's old now. Okay, he's probably not going to make that many third down conversions for you. They don't seem to like a back to the quarterback, throw it up there on the sidelines type receiver. He doesn't seem to have liked that. Andy Reid, that's not in his DNA, apparently.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a wide receiver. The problem is I think you get down, they have not had any success with the Josh Kandos and the B.J. Thompsons and, those kind of guys. Like, I think if you don't get an edge at 40, I'd rather you not pick one. Because I don't think it's that they don't do well. I don't think anybody does. I think if you're good at edge, like I said, I think it's an easier scout. You know who the guys are, and you got to take them early. Right. Otherwise, you're taking a guy that's immensely flawed. So, one more with Danny Clinkscale. Little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing.
The program with Soren Petro.
This drama contains adult language. Discretion is advised.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen, Mike Robinson and his team up at Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC are absolutely fantastic. He has assembled a great group of people to work with. Listen, the car buying experience is an important one, right? That's your family that you're driving around. It's got to get you to work. It's got to get you on vacation. Buying a car is an important decision, and Roberts Robinson knows that. Whether it's Robbie in service, Tim in sales, Jordan in finance, they make the process so easy. Mike Robinson understands that what you want is a great deal. You know what? How about this? How about we start by maximizing the trade value of your car? Then we get you into a great vehicle, and you're on your way. It's really not as difficult as a lot of other car dealers make it. They make it so easy. Find out for yourself. Go to robertsrobinson.com. And don't forget, it's still Chevy Truck Month. You'll find incredible trucks like the Silverado, the Sierra, the Colorado. They're all there on the lot right now at Roberts Robinson. Have the peace of mind of knowing that when you drive off the lot, you got a great vehicle and you got a great group of people that will be there for you. Listen, when it comes to getting service done, nothing better. Just had some service done on ours last Friday. Came down, picked up the vehicle, serviced it, brought it back. Even hustled it down before the big storm came through. That's right. They made sure that we still had our vehicle and we were ready to go. I can't tell you how much we appreciate Roberts Robinson and my family, and you'll appreciate them as well. It's about trust. It's about dependability. It's about knowing, like I said, you're taken care of even after you drive off the lot. That's what you get with Roberts Robinson. Find out for yourself how they just make it easy at Roberts Robinson Chevrolet GMC.
Stop renting, stop waiting, and start owning today. This is Cap One Lending, and we're getting buyers and investors to the closing table fast. We offer FHA, VA, conventional, and USDA with low fixed rates in the 4s. First-time home buyers? Yes, you can buy a home with low or no down payment. Need speed? We can close in as little as 2 weeks. Already own a home? Refinance now to a lower rate, reduce your payment, or get the cash you need. And investors, listen up.
Daniel Klinkskill is with us. Not a fan of that, are you?
No, not
Did
really.
you-
That's
did you-
why I decided to be Danny for my whole life.
If I call you
I don't
Daniel
like Dan
Robert.
either. Yeah, that's my. I only get called Daniel Robert when my dad was pissed.
Yeah, it's, we all
Daniel
got-
Robert. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Trouble coming.
Danny Robbie. You got a couple of the
It's a Ricky Bobby.
cutie baseball
Danny Robbie.
names.
Yeah, exactly.
Just real quick, did you wear the vest in honor of Mike Vrabel taking a?
Yeah, I'm headed for the hot tub.
Is that what?
Right after, right after this, decided I'm going to cheat on the old wife in the hot tub. Sounds like a quality plan, huh? And then say I'm going to go for counseling. Yeah, good work, Mike. You know, has anybody really taken a hard fall like that? I mean, everybody liked Mike Vrabel, and respected the guy and
He was great to talk
stand-up
to in
guy.
Tahoe.
Not saying he's not a stand-up guy. He made one mistake or whatever. But
Is that one mistake if you did it at least twice over 6 years? Is that just the same mistake?
No,
It's just elongated,
I
or
guess I don't know. What's the past history?
I am a big believer. Nobody ever cheated once.
Well, they had to cheat a first time, but I think it becomes a little easier after the first time.
That's my point. No one ever did it once. Don't do it the first time.
I guess, yeah. So I wouldn't be familiar with that. So
Me neither.
I'm not going to try it. What was the question?
Did you wear the vest in
Oh,
honor of
no,
Mike Vrabel?
I did not. I wore it because it's got versatility on the day when the temperature could be 68.
It was a little chilly this morning.
72. So and then it's going to get chilly a little later. So
Okay.
just for versatility, that's why I have it on.
Okay.
And I like the vest. I do. It's got a kind of hunting feel to it, which I don't do. So I don't hunt nor fish. So, but anyway. I wore it in honor of the stadium, of the new stadium. announcement.
Dynamite transition. The
Yeah.
music means you've got a lot of time to
I don't
spit
But-
something out on that. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's great, and it's ironic that it seems like after all this, somebody else had to come up with the plan besides the Royals. But God bless him, and thank goodness he was a quality Kansas Citian who can create a great legacy for the community and an iconic trademark of Kansas City.
My only question is, where is all this extra revenue that we were moving the ballpark for? Because everything seems to be built and owned by the Halls.
Right. It does. It seems like a great deal for them, but it's a bigger project, so I think there's a lot of room for people to get their fingers in the pie.
Well,
and hopefully it creates more money for the lovely ball club we've got right now.
Danny, enjoy that one pick today.
I will. I'll be all geared up.
All right, how many players have the Chiefs drafted out of LSU that played in at least one Pro Bowl for them? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Second half of the program begins right now. Little 2-minute drill brought to you by our friends at Jocelyn's Jewelry. Look, Mother's Day is right around the corner. If you're looking for the best gift to make a great impression with whatever mom might be on your list, Jocelyn's Jewelry is the place to go. In business almost 50 years, locally owned and operated. Kansas City's best jeweler, voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City. Trust me, only the best diamonds are good enough for Gary Joslin. They must be scintillating. It's not an easy word for a dope like me to say, but that's accurate. There's a reason why they're voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City by Ingram's Magazine. True jewelry expertise, plus the best customer service. You're treated like family the moment you walk in the door. Get to 95th and Antioch and get that Mother's Day gift that will make you a hero. Let's get things started. We begin in Atlanta, Georgia. Chris Domino, 680 The Fan, is there. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Soren. How are you?
Very good. How'd you like that day one of the NFL draft down there in Atlanta? How'd that go for you boys?
Did not score anything up. We did not cost ourselves any cap space, I believe, coming up in the next few years. And best I can tell, look, I got in a little bit of trouble. I won't say I was called to the principal's office, but Ian Cunningham, the general manager, actually was letting us know that he was thinking about doing like a mock draft, practice last night. And I said, what does that mean? You have 8 minutes to write down a fake name for a fake draft pick on a card, and I'm supposed to believe that, that would be really good practice for the rest of what's going to come up this week. I didn't really understand it, why he said it out loud. I don't get it. Like, these are really smart people, I guess, but I guess it's like the corporate world, and it's like your bosses and my bosses. You go, oh, they got an office. They must have been smart at one point, but why would you say that out loud, that you were going to practice? That's like me looking at an 8-foot putt and trying to pretend it's Augusta for me to win the whole thing. And I go, no, it's not. I got nothing at stake. So I wanted to know tonight, if I go up there, can I ask him who he imaginarily picked last night? And I was told that I was out of line. So whatever.
Who told you this? One of the principals in your building or him?
Not him. I was just told that it was out of line. First year, they tried to tell me, like with Mike Vrabel, they're trying to tell me what I should believe when, with what people say. It was lighthearted. I said, well, no, it's really not lighthearted, because you don't have a pick in the first round, and trying to pretend that you do to make sure that everybody in a room can give me a name of a person in 8 minutes is not necessarily a great trick. I believe, actually, if you could pull a quarter out of somebody's ear and do it cleanly, that would be a better trick than fake picking somebody in a fake first round.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. By the way, have they gotten over the fact that they don't have a first-round pick because they traded up for a guy with huge character flags and then it blew up on them?
Well, so here's the other thing. This has been the big thing, and immediately, here's what I think. I don't care if you think James Pierce Jr. should get another chance, should not have a problem, Falcons should release him, Falcons should keep him. But if you're coming in on a red-hot train and you're starting with, I told you he didn't do anything. Just remember that line. That's the first one. I told you he didn't do anything. Or if you're coming in on the same red-hot train going, I had 10.5 sacks. I'm not doing anything. What I feel is this. You don't have daughters, or the daughters you have you don't like. That's how I see those two things being written or said out loud. I told you he didn't do anything, and my God, he had 10.5 sacks. I'm not doing anything with the guy. We need him. It's fine. I don't want to argue with you. I'm just telling you what I read into that is you don't have daughters, or you don't care about the ones that you do, because there's no way there's not a better middle ground of doing a victory lap with I told you he didn't do anything. That's not what any of this means. Look, did he get lucky? Florida, I guess there's a program. We had the guy on yesterday, Slater, who broke the story, and I didn't know, like each state. But the fact that the police and Rakia Jackson, the young woman, are okay with what will turn out to be this, he goes to a program, that's all their business. But I'm really not going to stand for anybody who just now wants to do a victory lap with, he's ours. Hip, hip, hooray.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. And by the way, he does have to stay clean, whatever that means, for 6 months. I'm not telling you I'm betting against him, but I'm not betting on him because he's got some stuff going on.
If you
do what he did.
Yeah, if you asked me to bet pro or con, I would say it's not going to work. Just because there was a lot of reasons to keep your act together after being fortunate enough to be drafted, and he didn't do it. So I don't know why this is going to fix anything.
Don't forget, he was at the NFL Awards, and he actually got on a plane like a red eye to go do everything he did in Florida because he was on the other side of the country. So
yeah,
we'll see.
All right, let's talk about the Atlanta Braves. 18-8. Did we expect them to be this good? I know we expected a bounce back, but this good?
No, best in baseball, good, probably not. More runs than anybody, probably not. Second best, I guess now. Team ERA, probably not. It's what you hope and wish for, but you don't really believe you're going to be that good on both sides of the ball. But it's good. Look, at the end of the day, they struck out 15 times yesterday, got out homered in Washington, and they won the game going away 7-2 with a guy making his major league debut who became only the second guy in 50 years to give up a home run on the first pitch he ever threw in his major league career. And you still won that game 7-2. So it's going really well. Ronald hasn't done much. Austin Riley hasn't done much. Drake Baldwin has. Dominic Smith has. Matt Olson has. There's just been enough. Michael Harris certainly has. And if you got the second best team ERA in baseball, your bullpen has been really good. They've been taxed. I'm a little nervous that it's 3+ weeks into the season, and for 2 days you were definitely playing short out of the bullpen, but you got coverage. You did it. Walt Weiss's theory is, and I do like this, I got really tired of complacency around here. That whole thing with Soler, it's not Walt Weiss taking down Soler. It's Bryce Elder hitting a guy in the rear end. Those are the things that you have to do. If Ronald Acuna is going to get hit somebody. Play bully ball. Try to beat the hell out of starters. Starters aren't very good in baseball. If your goal is to beat the hell out of them and see what happens in the bullpen, I kind of like that as a plan.
How about the Atlanta Hawks up 2-1 now on the Knicks? They're the lower seed, but they get the win last night to take the lead in the series. They're getting contributions from Jonathan Kuminga, C.J. McCollum, two guys that they helped reshape this roster with. Where is your confidence level that they can now finish off the Knicks?
Yeah, I think we talked about Trae Young for the last couple of years, and there were times that it's addition by subtraction, and this is it. I don't have a shovel out. I'm not burying them, but I'm so happy those Cretans up in New York are dealing with this. My wish yesterday before that game, I said two things. I want the Hawks to win because I want the panic of, should Mike Brown be fired after 1 year? Check that box. Does Karl Anthony Towns have to go away? We need Giannis. On the head, I nailed them. Both of them being talked about on Sports Talk Radio, both in the newspapers up there, because that's sort of the panic that they're in. The Knicks players were fighting on the floor last night, Soren. They were fighting amongst themselves last night. They can deny it, but everybody saw it. They were fighting amongst themselves. They're panicky. And it was funny because the idiots up in New York, when the Hawks won Game 2, they rolled out on the 7th Avenue because they have to say something to prove that they're Cretans. Knicks in 5, Knicks in 5. Somebody asked me, hey, do you think the same people are chanting Knicks in 6? I said, only if somebody did the math for them. I don't know if they could have actually worked out the Knicks in 6 is the way to go. But and then all the old head Knicks. I'm allowed to say this. I'm from up there. Walt Frazier is my favorite player, favorite athlete of all time. I can say this. There were a bunch of old head Knicks who never won anything sitting in the building last night, and Walt Frazier was sitting at the end of them. Walt Frazier should have left them. Like, if I'm Walt Frazier, I'm not sitting with any of those losers for any other game for the rest of my life. Patrick Ewing, John Starks, they're all, hey, look at us, they were up. Hey, we're up by 3. I can't believe athletes forget that till the clock says 0-0-0, these games aren't over. And the New York Knicks aren't good enough to be jumping up and down before games are over.
Well, and I'll tell you this, let me give you every end-game situation with Jalen Brunson, with the Knicks. Here, Jalen. Like, that's it. You just go one-on-one. The four of us will stand here with our thumbs in our rectum, and you go get it done. I literally think 5 guys could surround Jalen Brunson, and he would just contort and fling the ball over his head towards the basket. It is going to no one else ever at the end of the game.
Yeah, they are the smallest big team ever. And don't give me rebounds, because, by the way, it was basically equal last night. Rebounds are not a sign of how big you play. Blocking people, knocking people out of the paint, forcing your way into the paint. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't want the basketball enough. Like, it's crazy. I think he had 11 or 12 shots last night. And normally you would say, give me the ball, watch me. I don't think he's got that personality. And I think Mike Brown has been outcoached 6 ways to Sunday so far in this series. And nobody really had that on their bingo card because nobody was really sure what Quinn Snyder was going to do with this group. But up 2-1, well, it's not over. and I know I don't want to get greedy, and I'm not. I don't mind cash. I don't like people who do. But somebody did ask me, so I feel okay to answer it. Oh, man, do you want the Hawks to win at home? I said, no. I want them to win up there.
Yes.
It's not even close. I want them to win up there.
It'd be great to watch the New York fans.
Oh.
The only sport that New York can win in is the one that has no cap.
Well, I'll give you another one. I got into a little bit of a debate with Charles Barkley the other day. It's the most overrated, overhyped franchise in the history of everything. The building is the most overhyped building in the history of everything. What they claim, because I know they do this, they claim giant Super Bowls, even though they're in New Jersey. So the last title was a WNBA title and an MLS title. That's it. That's it. And they're so desperate, they actually are claiming those now. That will tell you the state of New York sports as we live and breathe.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. I enjoy every second of it. Chris Domino, I enjoy every second you're on the air with us. We appreciate it, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, sir, and have a good one.
Because of one man, Munch Bishop, NEO Sports Insiders in Cleveland, Ohio. Munch, how are you, brother?
Brother, I am superb. I do have to jump in with one thing from your last little chat you had. I've been to Madison Square Garden. I love New York City. It's the capital of the world. I don't live there. I have a son and daughter there. Madison Square Garden, if you've never been there, go. It is absolutely the best place to watch a basketball game. It is amazing. It's crazy. And even the fans up in the cheap seats are boozed up, They're knowledgeable, and they treat outsiders with respect. I had to throw that in there, bro.
Okay. All right. Good to know. So there's one vote for New York coming out of Ohio. Let's talk we'll get to the Cavs here in a minute. Let's talk about the Browns making the deal with the Chiefs. What do people think of them rolling back from 6 to 9 and getting a third and a fifth?
Now, remember this, okay, that anything they do, people will be doing somersaults and cartwheels down Euclid Avenue, okay? We know that already. But number two, it's like, okay, if you get the draft choices, will you get the right players to put in there? They made trades last year. Who'd they get? Diminutive Dylan Gabriel. They got Sampson, the running back from Tennessee, a disappointment. And the guy that walks on water, who was the 49th ranked quarterback in the NFL in the fifth round, Shazier Sanders. Something else. You have to address positions when you're a bad football team. And what are the most important positions in football? The quarterback. The Browns still do not have one, okay? Next most important position, the left tackle. Well, he's a good kid, don't get me wrong. Heard him today. But the bottom line is right tackles don't always make the jump to left tackles in the National Football League. I've seen that with the Browns many, many times. So right now, again, for the rabble, they can't do anything wrong. For most people to take a step back that have a brain, they're like, okay. And then you get the receiver late in the first round. Tough kid, too. Concepcion, boy, some rack, some shoulder down after he catches the ball. But who isn't going to get him the football? That's the biggest question.
Yeah, that is a big question for them to figure out. But I think it does help to build the offensive line and to get weapons for that quarterback. That's one of the things Patrick Mahomes, when he took over, there was, we were going to find out right away, can he play or not? Because he had a good offensive line and he had good weapons. If you couldn't succeed with them, you weren't any good. He thrived immediately. The Chiefs knew they had their answer. They not only get Spencer Fano to help protect, but they get Casey Concepcion at pick number 24 to give another weapon to whatever quarterback they want to try to get to the bottom of. Do you think that that's enough that you should at least be able to figure out whether or not either one of those quarterbacks is good enough? Do they have enough now on offense to be legit to where you can say, okay, that quarterback's not good enough because he's got enough around him?
Well, number one, will Fano pan out at left tackle? That was a big question. Number two, be sure they rebuilt the offensive line. But if you notice, guys are moving around to positions they usually played. Is that going to work? And some teams that were in need of offensive linemen basically let a couple of these guys walk. So it is to be determined. They're trying. I'll give them that.
Yeah, okay. And it is unbelievable. I think every one of their 5 starting offensive linemen was a free agent. Is that right? Isn't that what it was coming into this offseason?
Yes, indeed, except for the now Fano.
Boy, if the Buckeyes could just get some talent, maybe they could be something, right? 4 of the first 11 picks, right? 4 of the first 11, first time ever, or at least the first time in 59 years, is that what I'm reading here? To have 4 top 11 picks in a single draft, that is unbelievable. Do they just reload every single time? I mean, what do Buckeye fans think when they see that much talent go this high after 14 picks last year in the draft? Anyone disappointed that they didn't win it this year?
You know what? Number one, I'm glad you mentioned that because you mentioned the talent. Once again, you look at it and go, wait a second. You know, they should have been in the championship game again. The talent was there, but you know what? If you notice, none of these gentlemen were offensive linemen, and that was the Achilles heel for the team last year in a big, big way. But the bottom line is, you look at these guys, not only stellar players, but talking to your sidekick there, they gave me the call early today. I'll tell you what, all these guys are very good players, but I'll tell you, the difference maker out of all of them will be Caleb Downs. He is one of the most spectacular DB safeties I have seen. And I've watched college football since 1969, emphatically, and then as a quote-unquote professional in this business in 79. And the bottom line is this is a special player. I likened him impact-wise to Jack Tatum. Not as violent, but a ball hawk, a sure tackler, and he's going to do a good job out there for Jerry Jones's fellas.
Cavs are still in control of their series with the Toronto Raptors up 2-1, but they did take a big loss. Do we make anything out of the fact that they lost by 22 points, or was it late? It got out of hand. They didn't care. They packed it in, and they're ready. They'll still win this thing in 5.
Getting outscored by 20 in the fourth quarter. Here's the thing. You almost could have written the script that Toronto's backs were to the wall. They lose last night. The series is over, okay? So they pulled out all the stops. I still have the Cavaliers winning the next 2 games in this series. But now, you know what? Whether you lose by 2 or 22, the team is too talented to say, oh, my gosh, they got curb stomped. They certainly did, but is it going to be a harbinger for the next game? Absolutely not.
Okay. All right, so you got the Cavs easy in the series. Moving on.
What's that, my friend?
You got the Cavs easy, winning the series easy?
You know what? I won't say easy because Toronto knows what's at stake, and the Cavs have had their way with them throughout history. I always look at it and say, well, these are totally different teams with different players. But the Cavaliers will win the next 2. I say they win the next game in Toronto, then the game in Cleveland will be much easier.
Okay. All right, we'll find out. Munch Bishop, great stuff as always, buddy. We always appreciate the time. Have yourself a great weekend, my friend.
Brother, you too. Take care.
Ohio, Pittsburgh.
Tim Benz, Fox Sports Radio, Pittsburgh style in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tim, how are you, sir?
Good. How's it going out there?
Going good. What do we think of the Steelers being on the phone with one draft pick where it looks like they're going to take a wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon, they were on the phone with, when the Eagles traded up in front of them and grabbed him? What's the reaction there in Pittsburgh?
It just looks sloppy is probably the best word to use. It just looks haphazard. It's a little unorthodox, to say the least, to have one division rival make a trade for another division rival, for them to get a playmaker, the third best wide receiver on the board. That was surprising. I'm sure they felt like Dallas had absolutely no reason to make a trade with Philadelphia. So I'm sure they were caught off guard by it. Obviously they were. They were on the phone with the kids saying that you're going to become a Steeler. So I actually thought they got a pretty good player in Max Ihanachor, the offensive tackle from Arizona State. They need help there. I think their plan was to get a tackle and a wide receiver as early as possible in this draft, and they might wind up doing it backwards. My rant the whole day has been, for as sloppy as that looks, the bigger deal was after they got scooped, which was somewhat out of their control, that they should have been a little bit more aggressive about getting back into the first round and taking Casey Concepcion before he went to Cleveland, or taking Omar Cooper Jr. before he went to the Jets. And then all of a sudden you've got your guard, your offensive tackle, and you've got your wide receiver, and everybody here in Pittsburgh was talking about all those receivers as one collective bunch anyway, and in the end, I don't think anybody's all that upset about it, even though Lemon might have been the better player.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather have the tackle myself than Lemon, so I think the Eagles may have done them a favor when it's all said and done.
Well, they might have if they had decided to use this vast well of currency to then get back into the first round, or position themselves to be way up in the first round to get whatever remains of the receiving core. And right now, of those 6 receivers who are all first-round targets, only one of them remains, and that's Denzel Boston. And I don't think that they're going to be able to move up into the second round now and get him unless they get real aggressive. And then you're overpaying, I think, then for a lesser player. Because if you looked at the 6 receivers that were there, he was my 6th choice of the bunch, and If you're going to go up that high, you might as well go up that high to get up into the first round, basically, and then get the extra year on the guy.
All right, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates, 14-11. The division's very good, though. That still doesn't have them anywhere near the top of it. It's about the only good division in baseball. Certainly, you'd be like the best team in the American League if they were in the American League. Is this legit? Is this something they can sustain throughout, and will they remain in the race?
I think they can remain in the race, and I think there's some artificial helium with the entire division, as you point out, and that'll all sort itself out, and maybe they'll be part of what gets sorted out and out of it earlier than I expect. But I thought they'd be an 81-win team, and maybe they're a little bit better than that. So far, the bats that they have added have been not only as advertised, but above advertised, aside from Ozuna. The starting pitching, for the most part, has been very good this year, and they don't lose two in a row. Everybody acts as a stopper, it seems like, after a one-night loss. They don't really extend losing streaks. They've been excellent about that since the Mets series to open up the year. So, yeah, that's how you stay in it. The biggest issues are middle relief, not good. Defense, not good. Starting pitching and the lineup, as good or better than expected.
Yeah, O'Neal Cruz, 8 home runs. I mean, he had the rough start to the year, losing the ball in the sun, everybody down on him. He's hitting. Brandon Lowe has got 7 home runs. He's hitting. And, oh, yeah, Ryan O'Hearn, who I thought, boy, you give that much money to Ryan O'Hearn, you're going to use him way too much. Wait till you see these numbers plummet. 325, 417, 513. What the hell do I know about baseball? I mean, Ryan O'Hearn looks like a pretty good value right now.
Yeah, he didn't kind of misplay the ball a little bit in right field that ended up becoming an inside-the-park homer. It wasn't going to be an easy catch, but it just hit the wrong spot off the fence in the wrong park. Again, with Cruz, who kind of doesn't have the instinct to back up further away and prevent that from becoming what it was. But his bat's been really good. He's been a good acquisition, and I kind of felt the same way that you did. But here in Pittsburgh, you just pay to get somebody to make you better. You take it and you smile. And he's given more than enough reason to smile so far.
All right, any smiling going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins? They are down
when they lose Game 4 and it's over.
Yes. I mean, is this the last run? I mean, do they need to blow things up? Do they need to move forward from the Sidney Crosby days, or is that he's a franchise player? He's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah, they don't need to move away from the Sidney Crosby days. They could move away from everybody else around him. Before the knee injury at the Olympics, he was doing fine. I mean, he looked like he had plenty of gas in the tank. He's playing through something, whatever it is, MCL, whatever that injury was, is limiting him in just about every aspect of his game. I mean, just go back and look. He won 10 of 15 faceoffs in Game 1 of this series and is now a minus 14 in the 2 games since. So, I mean, it's affecting him in every way. He missed a wide-open slam dunk in the net, right by the net, that he never misses. So it's not just the skating part. It's not just the up and down the ice with speed or not part. It's all aspects of his game right now that are compromised. But, give him an off season. He'll be better. He'll be Sid again next year, and I think he can be Sid until he's 45. But Malkin looks like he's done. Letang certainly looks like he's done. The issue is, we've had a number of opportunities to have the reckoning that this window has closed, and it started with the last year that they won a playoff series, which was 2018. And, the year after that, they lost. So maybe at the end of the 2019 season before the pandemic was a good opportunity to start moving on, either from the coach, from the players, but they kept extending it. Now they're trying to live in 2 worlds at once, and it's a very difficult thing to do.
Well, the Flyers are up 3-0 on the Pens. The Eagles beat the Steelers to their receiver. I mean, that can't be good. But Pittsburgh,
No.
Pittsburgh does have the draft. So I just, from a civic standpoint, what's the reaction to having the draft there in your town? Is everybody enjoying it? Is it going well? What's the reaction to it so far?
It's going better than people thought. I think that's being aided by anybody who had no intentions of going to the draft has left town. We had all these concerns about where are people going to park and how are people going to get in and out of the city, but the only people who are left in Pittsburgh are really diehard football fans, and everybody else left. So that has allowed traffic to move more freely. It's opened up more parking. So that's made it an easier experience. And there's just I think there's a little bit of a crisis of confidence around here this week, leading up to the draft, in the sense that normally you get one pothole somewhere near the Fort Pitt Tunnel and you're an hour and a half late for work. That's usually how civic infrastructure goes around the city of Pittsburgh. So taking on a massive operation like this, there's a lot of people who said, well, even the airport. Our airport has been done now for months, and like when we heard about when the airport was going to be reconstructed before the draft, the entire city said, there's no way they're going to get that done before the draft. So there's just kind of a crisis in confidence about how we could handle something like this, and it's come off better than anybody had a right to expect. But that's also been helped by the fact that people here that live here that just didn't feel like being a part of the draft have tapped out, worked from home, taken a long weekend, watched the draft from somebody else's, like an in-laws family's place somewhere in Washington County, and decided to let everybody else come into town and enjoy themselves.
Well, it's a beautiful city, and it really looks great on TV. I will tell you that. I do like Pittsburgh as a town, and it looks great. Looks fun. I'll give you guys that. The bridges are great. Everything's lit up. The city looks beautiful.
Yeah,
so.
We waited to have the big rainstorm until after 11 o'clock, after everybody left. So even Mother Nature's been on our side on this one.
Well, I also heard that I read, I can't remember where it was, but that they had crews out, repainting the bridges and cleaning everything up, wanted to put the best foot forward, right? That was part of what everything, if you had a part of the town that you're like, why does this always have trash and everything? It all got picked up, right, to put the best foot forward?
They did what they could. The big question was Market Square, where they've got a lot of things going on. That was a little behind in its refabrication, to use a politically correct term. And that was an 11th hour thing that they finally cleaned up. But I think there might be some things put together with bubble gum and chicken wire. Let's see how long they stay up once everybody leaves town on Sunday.
Okay, interesting. Well, hey, we have the whole world coming to Kansas City for the World Cup in June. There are a lot of people going, there's a lot of work to be done right now, so we're experiencing the same thing. Tim Benz in Pittsburgh. Great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a fantastic weekend.
Thanks, Ron. Talk to you soon.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen end of the hour answer. Let those trombones go. How many players have the Chiefs drafted out of LSU that played in at least one Pro Bowl for them?
Dwayne Bowe.
One. And one Pro Bowl.
No Tyson Jackson. No Glenn Dorsey. No Harvey Williams.
Nope. There's one way back. There's one.
I'm gonna say 3.
Growing up. There it is 3. I didn't give you the full number. Yeah, so there's one way back. And
I figured there was 2 more on top of the one I gave you, so 3 was the answer, right?
Nice
Thank you.
The Wayback Machine produced
Johnny Robinson.
Johnny Robinson, Hall of Famer, 7 Pro Bowls, and then
hang on,
the man who's been in this building. I have a picture of myself in the lobby with him. One of the cooler names.
The Honey Badger.
No, one of the cool. He didn't
get drafted by the Chiefs. Had to be drafted by the Chiefs, not just play for the Chiefs. Curtis, did you see the fear?
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, they didn't draft him.
It's like, I had that right. One of the cooler names for a wideout. Not really known.
Carlos Carson.
Carlos Carson.
Nailed it.
He would have been. I mean, look back at like players that didn't get to play with Mahomes, and you think about who would you like.
He was good.
The number one guy I think of is Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
Maybe pre-sold, but Jamal Charles, just that ability to catch the ball. They had that one when Jamal Charles came back to, like, officially sign his contract and retire, and they went out in the field and did the handoff. I was just like, that would have been fun. Sometimes things line up. There's a lot of things have lined up with the Chiefs, but they could use one more. Carlos Carson's another one, so.
913-810-810, the phone number, 913-810-810. We just gave away La Feta. Mm-hmm. You're looking for a great meal, get over there right now. They're at 143rd and Metcalf. I mean, right now. I don't care where you are in the metro. Yeah. Drive to 143rd and Metcalf right now. When you have the sandwiches at La Feta, you will understand why. Mad reviews. Mad as in madly positive.
Yes.
Reviews from the Bo Richter family.
Oh, yeah.
On the La Feta.
Love it.
Italian delicatessen. LaFetaDeli.com. Don't forget they cater for parties, but you need to give them a little lead time because everything is made absolutely as fresh as possible.
I may have said this last week. That Queen may be the best sandwich I've ever eaten. I've had that thing a dozen times. Every time, every bite, it's just like I'm in my car going, oh, my gosh, that is so good. The ingredients are amazing.
Yeah.
So if you haven't gone, go. If you have, tell a friend. They probably already know about it, though.
Get on over there, LaFetaDeli.com. I catered a party. You were there.
Yes.
Were you? Yeah, you were. You were.
Yeah, for our player pool.
That's right.
Yummy.
All right, let's talk about pick 40.
Mm-hmm.
Zion Young's your dream. He goes. Then where are you going?
Let me pull that list up.
Do you have
again.
an 8-man board to get you there?
I don't. I won't say I have an 8-man board. I probably should, though. Let me see. On the offensive side, if he's gone, I think I still might go edge. I mean, there's some good corner value there, but I wouldn't. I mean, Colton Hood's going to be, I think, good. McCoy could be, but when you've already gotten a corner, do you want to take another corner when you've got other things? Are you better off going there or an edge that might not be as good value-wise? T.J. Parker, Cassius Howell, probably the 3 best edges left. A couple of really good defensive tackles, but you've already addressed that. Do you want to double down on defensive tackle? I don't know. Jacob Rodriguez is interesting. He's kind of a unicorn. There aren't many players like him or weren't like him in college football. Not just the physical ability, but the football sense, intuition. Instincts. Instincts is probably a better word. Off the charts instincts as a football player. Offensively, I'm guessing it's too early to pop on Mike Washington from Nebraska, but it might not be too early to pop on one of the wideouts.
I don't think Mike Washington's going.
No, I think he's probably.
I don't think he's going
4th
tonight. I think he's going tomorrow.
I think he's probably going. I think they could probably get him at 109 maybe, if they wanted to. Denzel Boston, Zachariah Branch, Jeremy Bernard, Ted Hurst. I've seen some scuttlebutt about Eli Stowers, the the tight end from Vanderbilt. But
you know what? If they take him, you know why they would take him?
Because Travis Kelce.
No. Well, that's part of it.
Yeah,
but why would he be the tight end? Not why they're taking tight end. Why they would take Stowers?
To honor the Stowers Institute.
I don't think he's related, but I don't know that he's not. I don't know.
Easy.
Have you read that?
Opportunity? No, I just saw. It's the only other time I've heard the name Stowers, and that I can think of. It was the Stowers Institute.
Do you? He has something in common with the other 3 tight ends that are on the Chiefs roster.
Same agent?
Nope. What do those 3 have in common?
I don't know.
Come on.
They're all white dudes?
Jared Wiley's not a white dude. Is he?
His name's Jared. Thought it was a layup.
That's not it. That's not where I'm going. I'm not even going
to. SEC? I mean.
No,
Cincinnati's not in the SEC.
Oh,
TCU's not in the SEC.
Good call.
Duke's not in the SEC.
I have no idea.
You don't know what the Chiefs' 3 tight ends that I said, if you're going to get another tight end, go get a tight end that can block. And don't get a tight end that
can catch.
No.
Oh. Well, you've asked me the same question 6 times. I keep telling you no. I'm trying to find something. I have no idea where you're going with these.
Let me see on Twitter if somebody. Does anybody know what the comment? We've talked about it many times. Kyle, you haven't. Yeah, you got nothing on this?
No.
Pretty sure he would have offered it by now if he did.
Well, I thought maybe he was just letting it play out, watching like watching you dangle in the wind.
I know.
I usually like to take the segment after the drill off.
Yeah, it is a lot for you to work on. There's no doubt about that.
Let me see. Mackey Award winner? I don't know.
Nope. They weren't on.
Oh, quarterback.
Yes. Somebody just called you.
Well played.
Jeremy just told me.
There you go, Jeremy.
Nice.
He was a quarterback. He was recruited as a quarterback, hurt his shoulder, and converted to tight end. So it'd be yet another quarterback convert at tight end. When you read about him, like, oh, good catch, this and that. Heck, kind of blocks.
Yeah. That would be
Curtis, we nailed it.
Yeah, we did. Nailed it. I mean, if you're looking for, I always think I have thought all off season that the idea that they got to get some, Travis Kelce's going to be gone. They got to find someone to replace him. They got to find a tight end at some point. But the idea that you need to go, that the offense needs to run through the tight end because just run so much through Kelce is crazy. You got to find guys who can play at other positions. But if you're going to get a tight end, I mean, the one thing about Kelce we've talked about for a while is the idea that that he and Patrick Mahomes have a mind meld is crazy. It's the fact that they both see the field like the same way as a quarterback. If Eli Stowers sees the field the way Patrick Mahomes does, he's probably going to be a better player in this offense than maybe someone who might be more physically gifted than Stowers, but doesn't have that.
Well, that's the more physically gifted is Sadiq, but Stowers was the more productive player.
Yeah,
and
particularly when you've got a quarterback who goes off script as often as Mahomes does, you have players who can kind of work. I know I'm seeing what he's seeing. He's going to adjust, and I'm going to adjust along with him.
If they did take him, I would get it, and I wouldn't mind it. I think 40 might be a little high. I just think you can get other good tight ends. Usually rounds 3 and 4 can be a good spot for the tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind it. But the thing that I see, first of all, you are right about no one's replacing Travis Kelce ever.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce didn't replace Tony Gonzalez. I know there was a period of time in between. My point is, he is not Tony Gonzalez. He's different. He's Travis. Guys that are truly great are the first of their kind, and they're the only one of their kind.
Yeah.
Like Mario Lemieux was a great hockey player. He wasn't Wayne Gretzky. But no one's been Mario Lemieux since Mario Lemieux was there, right? Like, there are guys, he was bigger, he's more physical, played a different style where Gretzky was just pure speed. Like, those guys, no one will be Michael Jordan. Guys might be as good or better You can make the case for LeBron, whoever you want, but no one will do it the way Michael Jordan did it. That's the mark of greatness.
Aaron Donald. No one will. Oh,
that is a fair point. If Peter Woods will not be Aaron Donald. If he's great, he'll be Peter Woods. Okay?
While we're going down that road.
So yes, they will need to get a tight end, but my hope is most dynamic offenses are led by a wideout.
Yeah.
Right? And when the Chiefs' offense was truly elite, Tyreek Hill was part of this offense. And if you want to say, well, Travis Kelce was clearly more important because they won 2 championships without Tyreek Hill, fine, I'm not arguing. I don't know that that's checkmate, that's the only way to look at it. I think you can make a case that they just got better on defense and made up for what they lost on offense and then some. Right?
They didn't score many points in the playoffs the 2 years that they won the Super Bowl after he left.
I would tell you that Tyreek Hill was the more valuable player. But the move they made was the right move. That's just how it works, right? But I would hope that at some point they will find the wideout that can become the difference maker.
Yeah.
I think that's the better way to go about playing offense.
Because if they don't make the Tyreek Hill move, they don't have Peter Woods because they don't have Trent McDuffie to trade for. They don't have those picks.
Yeah. And by the way, I was talking earlier about a couple of wideouts to look for in the third, fourth round range. Bryce Lance.
L.A.
At North Dakota State was the one that I could not think of. And Ted Hurst, Kyle mentioned, Georgia State are guys, I think, third roundish for the wideout spot. We heard Brett Veach talk about third, fourth round for wideout, so I was looking through, okay, where could he be looking? Smaller schools. Georgia Southern is in the Sun Belt now, aren't they? They used to be a 1AA, but I think they're Sun Belt now. And so they probably got a couple of games against higher level competition, but both of them are 6'3 plus, and both of them ran sub 4.4. I mean, so if you want a bigger receiver, they're going to need to be able to run. Both of them can run.
They are in the Sun Belt. Just to have a wideout named Ted, kind of cool.
Ted?
Ted.
Bryce? You don't like Bryce?
Bryce is cool, but Ted. Ted's like, it's a name you haven't heard from in the NFL for a while.
But when I look at let me just read off. I'll just take the NFL.com board because I use their pick tracker, and so they have a thing you can click on undrafted, and it's basically their board. They have their grades. They use a numeric scale. I don't know if it's a 7-point scale is the highest because we're in the 6.4s now, or the highest guys left. Here, let me read you the names. Tell me if you. Let me just read you the positions. Tell me what you hear. Then the names will bog down and pollute what I'm trying to get across here. Just the positions of the top of the players that they say are available. Wide receiver, corner, edge, linebacker, corner, safety, D-tackle, edge, corner.
Edge, corner.
So let me do it again. Wide receiver, corner, edge, linebacker, corner, safety, defensive tackle, edge, corner. What do you notice there?
Edge, corner, a lot. No, not many wideouts, but a lot of
one wideout.
One wideout, but edges and corners are the ones that the name I kept hearing.
Corner, edge, D-tackle, safety, corner, linebacker,
defense.
Edge, all defense.
Defense out the yang, yeah.
I mean, and then even after that, I stopped to make the point at where the next wideout goes. Then it goes wide receiver, guard, D-tackle, linebacker, edge, linebacker, safety, wideout, edge, linebacker. Like, I feel like right now there's a lot of defensive guys. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind that pick. And they've already taken 2 defensive guys. I think it's a reason why we saw the run on offensive tackles, because I think people are like, here's the depth. The depth is on the defensive side. Yeah. We'll take a break. 913-3-810-810. You're in the program. Good tune.
Very good tune.
Wrapping up hour number 3 of the program. Coming up next hour, Todd Lebo is going to join us. We're going to hear a little Andy Reid, a little Brett Beach, a little Mansour Delane, little Pee-woo.
Pee-woo.
That's Peter Woods.
Yeah, that's what his Twitter
is it
thing is. I think it's Pee-woo.
He had a big necklace that said Pee-woo.
Yeah, Pee-woo.
That's a good nickname.
It's not.
It's not?
It's like the reverse of like Woo Pig Suey.
Pee-woo?
Suey, Pee-woo. Pee-woo. That's no. That doesn't sing to me.
Okay.
I'll let anybody can. If you like it, you like it. It's fine. There are no wrong answers.
Okay. The second and third round of the draft will be tonight. You'll hear it right here on your home of the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
40 seconds per pick in the second round, I heard.
Is that what it
should be quick.
It's like a PFF mock draft simulator. Holy cow, look at these picks go.
Boom, 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 boom.
Is it 5 minutes already, or is it?
It used to be 7. It used to be 10-7, then 5. Maybe it's probably still 7.
What do you know?
I had nothing. All right, what team has the longest current streak of making at least one pick in the first round of the NFL Draft? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now, finishing strong here on a Friday. Day 2 of the NFL Draft, just an hour away. We will get you wall-to-wall coverage of that here on the home of the National Football League. As we had a great time doing it last night. In tonight,
Sean Kellerman and Easton John.
Okay. Sean Kellerman and Easton John will have you covered. ESPN Plus local coverage brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Discover Vision Center, Shawnee Cycle and Power Sports, Trailside RV, Window Nation, and Easton Roofing. Let's start with some Royals news. The Royals back in action tonight. 6:40, catch it on Royals TV. Royals minus 108. Angels can't be minus 180. So that's a typo. I'm going to say if the Royals are minus 108, probably minus 118 would be my guess on the Angels. Maybe a slight favorite.
Both 108.
Both 108. Okay, that's what it was.
Keystroke error.
Let's do that. There we go. Noah Cameron versus Yusei
Kikuchi.
I say Gesundheit.
Let's call the whole thing off.
So, yeah, you got that going for you.
I'm sure Royals fans not over the moon over tonight's starting lineup.
No,
it is
out.
what it is.
The lineup is out, and Michael Garcia is out of that lineup today after feeling a cramp in his throwing elbow in Wednesday's game against the Orioles. Matt Quatrero gave us the latest.
Yeah, he's improved from Wednesday. It's just, he's got a little discomfort in his elbow and a little bit of inflammation that we need to get out of there so that he can feel comfortable getting back out on the field.
Do you expect him to be available off the bench?
I do, yeah. I mean, we're going to wait and see how the rest of the day goes, and he'll prep in the cage during the game, and we'll find out for sure. But my expectation is yes.
So he's able to swing and throw and do all the pregame work and stuff.
He will probably not throw pregame just to play it safe, but he's definitely going to swing and take ground balls.
Is the irritation more with throwing as opposed to
more so with throwing? Yes.
All right.
Sounds like a late inning pinch hitting.
That's what it sounds like, or he's not available, and he wants him to think he is so that,
yes,
hey, we can still go get him. They're not making a IL move, so that means they don't think it's that serious.
Yeah.
They don't think they'll be without him for that long. Nick Lofton will take Garcia's place at third base as the leadoff hitter tonight, so a chance for Nick Lofton to gain some ground on my bold and daring prediction that he would establish himself as a legitimate major leaguer. Maybe not in one spot, maybe as a super utility guy, but that was one of my bold and daring predictions. Come on, Lofton!
Well, they're going to try to connect to the city with this lineup. Lofton, Witt, Perez, Thomas, Marte, Jensen, Collins, Diaz, Massey.
If you're on the roster,
Cameron on the bump.
If you're on the roster, you're going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it works.
Yep.
Last night, if you didn't stay up late, you maybe didn't hear Brett Beach. Let's bring you up to speed with what he had to say. We'll start with his decision to trade up.
And we had identified Mansur Delane early on as a guy we wanted. And it just looked like the predictive model said that, the Saints are going to be the biggest obstacle. And so, when you kind of go through, I've been doing this for a few years now, and, you start the process off where, Cleveland made it obvious early on that they're going to be interested in trading, so we had some traction with Cleveland. And then as the days went on, it was clear the Redskins weren't going to do anything. And I know Mickey, if there's one guy that's more aggressive than me, it's Mickey. And he, I've had that experience where we're kind of eyeing the same guy, and when you try to call them when they're on the pick, it doesn't work out. So when you looked at, their roster, 2 years ago they lost Paulson Adebo to the Giants, and then just this past offspring they lost Alontae Taylor. So they were down 2 corners. We lost our number 1 and number 2 corners. And so, we just decided, and we had Mansur Delane as a top 5 guy on our board, and we just made a decision that if we got in striking distance, let's just go up there and not leave it to chance.
Yep.
So they thought that was the team they had to worry about.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the part where he said, Washington, they weren't going to do anything? Did you hear disgust?
Yeah.
Am I the only one that kind of heard that, or irritation, or
they're not going to do anything?
Then that's how I kind of took it. I might be totally wrong.
I didn't notice that at first, but when you mentioned that, I was like, it does kind of sound like that. They're not going to do anything.
I thought it was
those are losers. Not quite that way, but
yeah, that was interesting. All right, let's hear Brett Beach talking about their round 2 needs. He was asked what they'll look for tonight.
I think you guys kind of know the direction we're in. I mean, we're going to continue to add to the defensive line, and if we can, get some more edge help for sure. But I mean, again, we're not going to shy away from offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and there's some talented receivers on the board. So, don't like being in this position. Hopefully, we're not in this position again. But it is a lot better to come back tomorrow and be picking right out of the gate again. I mean, we're typically used to waiting and seeing a handful of guys that we know are never going to be there. So this is a little bit more exciting for us. And it happens. It happened fast time. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but I mean, tonight flew by. So tomorrow will be even quicker. So spend a lot of time tonight, and then we'll huddle up again tomorrow and kind of put our board together, and we'll have 8 names, and hopefully add another talented player to our roster.
Well, if you have 8 names, and you, I guess, assume if you would make the list of 8, I'm assuming you wouldn't put them on the list unless you thought they were talented. So if you can come up with a list, you should be adding a talented player. At 40, they better be talented.
Yeah.
Shame on you if they're not.
We just grabbed a guy.
Threw a dart.
Jeff Smith inadvertently drafted one of the reporters. What? We drafted who?
We let the intern take a crack at it.
Yeah. Did we just draft Matt Derrick? Matt.
Yeah. It made tonight, it made it easier for you to make some plans to go to the movies.
Yes.
Just got to get to the 8th pick tonight, and then you can bang it, head on out.
And you're good.
I think they might trade down. Probably not, because he just normally doesn't do it. Maybe that's just my wishful thinking. I'd really like to get that third rounder back.
Because I'm looking at the only way to get up into the second, they can't, they don't have enough. Even if everything they've got left on the one value chart, 109 and 169.
How far down do they have to go for it to be a third round value?
I'm not quite sure.
How many points? Is 40? What did they trade? Or is 74?
74 was 220.
Okay, so what is 40?
Mm-hmm.
What is pick number 40?
500.
So then what's 220 less? What pick is 220 less?
280 is about 62.
So
third to last pick of the second round.
So
second round.
I'd like to see him go not quite that far, but go move from 40 down to like about 55 and get a third back.
Yeah, that's 150. That would get I'd get you back a late third, 87.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
do that and get the third round pick back. Throw in your fifth, make it a little bit higher.
Yeah,
how about that? Throw in one of the fifths, make it a little bit higher on each point. That's my dream scenario for tonight.
I dig it.
If they stay at 40, it's that Zion Young, I think, is going to be a really good player. Would be a really good player in the Steve Spagnuolo system. Don't see the wideout that I got to have. I think wideouts are later, but not having that third, that's where I think the wideouts go. But maybe there'll be a spot in the fourth.
By the way, the Chargers actually have 350 and that would be perfect value to go to 500.
Well, there you go.
They actually have a team that has those two picks.
Okay. Clark Hunt spoke to the media. He was asked if there's still a chance that the Chiefs end up playing in Spain this year.
There's still a possibility that we would play in Spain, and at this point I do think the opportunities are limited to Spain. We know that Atlanta will be the host team there, and we're one of 4 or 5 teams that are on their schedule that could possibly be in that game. So I don't know what the odds are, but something, probably slightly less than 50-50.
We're one of 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah, slightly less.
The odds are slightly less of it. Well, would they be 20 to 25%? Or is the fact that you won it bump them up? I guess would be the
fact that you're the Chiefs.
Yeah, would be the option.
Maybe you got the drawing card.
Derek Johnson was available today. He's going into the Chiefs Hall of Fame. Said his resiliency was the key to his success here in KC.
A lot of people look at my career in the NFL, 13 years, and say, man, all-time leading tackler, 4 Pro Bowls, couple All-Pro seasons, you got some records, you got this and that. What was that turning point? My turning point was going through adversity. If you can fight through something that doesn't favor you, it has great benefits. life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% on how you respond. So being able to respond the right way during that 2009 season was a big deal. And every year after that, it's not a coincidence that I had some kind of Pro Bowl status after that 2009 season. So it's okay when you go through adversity. That's not to hurt you or to make you fail. It's actually get you better if you can fight through it. So that's what football is all about, getting knocked down and standing back up. And I'm a real testament to that now, being in the Chiefs Hall of Fame. So it's pretty cool.
Aren't many players in Chiefs history, where if they didn't wear numbers, you could tell who it was while they were playing. And 3 or 4 times every game, Derek Johnson would blow through somebody and wreck a running back for about a 3-yard loss. And you just see a flash of white or a flash of red. You wouldn't even need to see that. You just knew that's who it was.
There's
great.
DJ. He was great at shooting the gap and getting in there.
Incredibly explosive.
Just fantastic.
If he'd have had better hands, he'd have had 20 picks probably.
Do you that is true. He could not
20
catch.
pick sixes. He finally got 2 in one game. People were like, unreal.
Yeah. But a great player and great guy in the locker room, too.
Absolutely.
Stand-up guy, always there, always answer the questions. Very happy to see Derek Johnson going into that Ring of Honor. Are you excited to watch day 2 of the draft?
I am.
All the picks.
Yeah.
We just can't wait to see where they're going to unwrap them.
Yep.
Not everyone agrees.
Yeah.
There's some people that do not agree. Bill Burr, comedian.
Todd Lebo lookalike.
Is one of them. Here is Bill Burr, his thoughts on watching the NFL draft.
What kind of a loser just sits there watching round after round? The Jets are up next. I think they need a cornerback. And they need to improve the defensive line. Dude, that's like going to a graduation ceremony where you don't know anybody who's graduating and just sitting there. They're going to have the whole list the next day. They'll have everybody who drafted, who, when. You got to sit there and watch that. Those stupid interviews. Hey, you're a member of the Buffalo Bills. How does it feel?
Well, it's a blessing. I want to thank God. Going to try to do my best. It's a great organization. And same the last 80 guys said. So, yeah.
Same blank the last 80 guys said.
That's my favorite part of that.
That was so good.
And it's a blessing. It's a great organization. And same crap the last 80 guys said.
We need the defensive line. Oh, just fantastic. He is
Notice
so funny.
How he makes it clear that everybody who does something he doesn't like sounds like this.
Yes. I wonder if he's the only person that does that.
It's a popular theme. I'll tell you what. You call me an idiot because I watch the draft.
That's a human instinct.
That's the brilliance there of Bill Burr. He has accurately figured out what the people who disagree with him sound like.
Yes.
You're totally wrong. Why don't you rip and Vrabel more? The Chiefs are moving up to 3 with the Cardinals. I don't know why you can't admit it.
Can confirm.
You dumbass. It's either 3 or 4. They're moving up for Arvell Reese. You just can't admit it. Mm-hmm. Okay, sure.